welcome back everyone, welcome back to another week, another edition of ESL Open Cup Asia number 230, a very special edition as most players are traveling. Most of the top tier contenders for the ESL Asia Open Cup are traveling and coming back home from DreamHack Dallas, from the land of the Americas. But we still have a lineup of players, quite a lineup of players here tonight. Of course, I'm your host, Live VIP. With me, I'm joined by the people in the chat, by these amazing players. And we're diving into our first series. As spawning in the top right-hand corner of Alkione, we have our Red Protoss player from the land of Kazakhstan. It is Praetor. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the Blue Protoss, representing himself. Currently teamless, but returning from the military, it is Trap. Whew, let us go. And yeah, honestly, I'm really excited. Like, I'll be honest, I saw the bracket. One, I was surprised to see how many players signed up and checked in, and two, I was surprised how competitive it was. I saw like a comment in the chat talking about how like, oh, you know, this week's Open Cups, like Asia, EU, and America is going to be so easy because everyone's traveling and everyone's going to be jet lagged and no one's going to make it home in time. I mean, if we look at the bracket, I don't agree. In the sense that I feel like the skill level of all these players, is actually quite similar, to the point where it's hard to say who's gonna make it through. There is one big notable, and that is Solar. Solar, he's all the way in the top half of the bracket, so I'm really curious to see, is he playing from the Americas or did he come home early? If you remember, Solar, he got knocked out in the open stage, if I remember correctly. He didn't make it into day 2 or day number 3, which means Solar may have just gone home early after what had happened, and he may already be in Korea as a result. Like he may just be in Korea, or he could be playing from like a hotel. I don't know. It's possible. But yeah, for those who maybe weren't watching, we casted Solar's series on this channel. It was on Saturday. Solar was in the open stage against Rogue, and Solar did end up bowing out in the end in a ZVZ versus Rogue. It was a very, very bittersweet moment seeing Rogue advance on and Solar get knocked out before even the knockout bracket. It was, yeah, a pretty insane result and a pretty rough upset as well. But Solar did go down in the early rounds. But now we're getting to our PvP, and it's going to be a double gate opener here at a Trap, opening up double Adept. Meanwhile, Praetor opening up double Gateway as well, going into double Stalker production into a Robo on one base. Interesting, delaying quite heavily our expansion. Very safe opener here at a Praetor. He hasn't seen too much shenanigans here as we are expanding, so yeah, just a very safe build from our Red Protoss player. This safe build can turn into an aggressive one. Ooh, as the Adept shade in. Adept shade into the main base. Probes are going down. And we get a full scout as well. We get confirmation of the Robo. From here, we can throw down a third gateway, go for a prism, move out across the map, start immortal production. We can turn this into a one base all in, but 6 probes go down already. That is an insane amount of damage. And Praetor, what is our plan going to be here? Again, I feel like expanding is not going to be on the table. I feel like we got to send it. But what do we send out? It's going to be the immortal. Okay, it's going to be an immortal first here. It looks like we do want to try to turtle up here on our 2-base setup, but alas, Trap is taking up from here. We have a Twilight Council, we have Blink on the way, we have our expansion on the low ground. Trap is moving out for a follow-up scout. Again, Trap needs to confirm whether this is an all-in. He needs to confirm whether or not we ever expand. And, oh, dips in. Confirms a lack of Nexus. Does get eyes on the immortal now on the way. Still only 2 gateways. From here, we can go for a prism again to reinforce across the map. We'll go for a proxy pylon and a proxy gateway instead. And back at home, shield battery. Back at home, Trap, he's respecting this army. He's sorting out shield batteries. He's getting ready for the push. Extra warp in, sentries banking up energy. We are getting ready, and here comes the one base all in. There's that prism on the way again, so we can reinforce on the front lines. Praetor did bleed out a lot of workers earlier. Now it's all or nothing for Praetor. Does catch a Stalker. Not a bad start. Every unit counts right now in this early game. Second shield battery is on the way. Ooh, and a second pylon. We're going to have an overcharge as well. Trap is getting ready. Force Field's going to be making these a little bit more awkward, creating a choke point to push through. So far, very clean defense here by Trap. He's going to be able to hold his own, buy some time. Force Field's run out. We do warp in an extra wave of sentries. Okay, I mean, Blink is done, so Force Fields are going to be as impactful here for Trap. We're going for the main. We're trying to, but we're forced to fight, forced to engage. Again, the Immortal adding quite a bit here for Praetor, breaking through a decent line of Stalkers. But again, the longer this goes on, the worse it is, and we pull back to the shield batteries. Trap getting ready in the main, just in case we did dive in. Praetor pushing towards the natural, does get one shield battery. Up! Ooh. Juggles just in time, but we have the overcharge. And with the overcharge, we can hold our own, we can focus down the Immortal. Ooh, we do barely save it. Up! At least a little bit longer, but the Prism goes down. We dive on the Prism, we dive on the Immortal, and Trap will shut this down. GG, well played. Trap takes game number 1. Whew. GG. A pretty interesting all-in here at a Praetor. Again, unfortunately, it did take a little bit to actually get underway, to actually hit. Oh, Pappy. But a big shout out to Chase in the chat. Oh my god, thank you so much for resubscribing, Pappy. Thank you for the support. Thank you for resubscribing for 18 months. Thank you. Thank you. Much love. Much love. Much love, Pappy. How is Sign playing? Sign might be playing from North America. He might be. He might be. That's the thing. Like my assumption here is, I mean, if we cast Solar, then I'll ask him if he's back in Korea already, or not. Just catching up. But here we go. We're getting into game number 2, and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Oceanborn, we have our red Protoss player down in the series, but looking to bounce back. The red Protoss player, it is Praetor. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the blue Protoss, representing himself, currently teamless, returning from the military, leading the series 1-0. It is Trap. Here we go. Chat, it's crazy there's only 10 points between Coffee and Cyan. Oh, okay. Because of that, as is being stated in the chat, EPT points are going to be so important for them. Having good standing and having a good run in some of these tournaments is going to be so important for them. And again, Coffee and Cyan are not unfamiliar with even making it to the semifinals. I mean, here in this tournament, it's going to be an even tougher kind of race to grab those points. So I do wish them the best of luck. We had that once in a year when Lebo stacked like 5 points or so. Yeah, I think I remember that being the case. I think it was like 2 years ago or something, a couple of years ago, where EPT points did matter. The weekly points mattered, I should say. Came down to the wire. And Showtime is playing. Yes, Showtime is playing against the winner of the series. As you can imagine, that's the reason why we dove on this series, on this PvP, because Showtime is lying in wait. And I would love to see how they compare to each other. But now we're getting into our openers. It's going to be a 2-gate opener by Trap. Likewise, 2-gate opener by Praetor. And we'll see if Praetor embraces a 1-base all-in once again. What I was going to get into is that the 1-base all-in in the last game was hindered because of the economic damage done earlier. Likewise, I believe that also did impact the amount of gateways we had available as well. So it was a bit of a weird offbeat all-in from Praetor. It was a little bit less than ideal. But I would hope that he's going to have a bit of a cleaner early game this time to make that all-in a little bit more impactful, if that's what we go for. As this time, ooh, a bit of a greedier build here. Trap skipping his second units, going for a sentry into expand. A much more greedier build here from Trap, and Praetor, who is denied his expansion. And Pylon is going to be thrown down. Praetor, thankfully, has a Stalker on the way, will end up shutting down this Pylon and can eventually expand. Twilight Council on the way behind this. Very fast Twilight Council, fast Blink. Okay, you have my attention. Blink is going to be on the horizon for our red Protoss player. Meanwhile, across the map, Trap going for a safety Robo. Okay, so really fast expansion, followed by the Robo. This should be for Immortal production. Trap, he needs to pump out those Immortals as quickly as possible, set up a shield battery here on the low ground, and get ready to defend the aggression of Praetor. There is a proxy pylon on the map. This looks like another 1-base all-in, but this looks like potentially a 4-gate blink all-in. There's blink on the way. We will proxy at least one gateway. We might even proxy the second gateway as well, just to keep them hidden. As Hallucination comes in, gets a full scout of the main, confirms only 2 gates. Hallucination will get out. There's the one proxy gateway, so for now it's going to be 3-gate blink. Again, I believe on 1-base you can afford a 4th gateway, but for now, just 3 gates. And back at home, Trap is amassing that Immortal. Again, just a really safe follow-up after a greedy build from Trap. So just again, pumping out as many Immortals as he can. There's going to be at least 1, potentially 2 Immortals. Meanwhile, there's the 4th gateway. So yep, 1 gate, 4 gate. 1 gate, what? Sorry. 1 base. 1 base, 4-gate blink all in for Praetor. It's all or nothing. And we scout the proxy. Oh, we scout the proxy. We scout the pylon behind the mineral line as well. Trap is more or less aware of what's going on. And we're getting ready. Even a second pylon on the high ground, just in case. Trap making sure he doesn't get caught off guard. Do love to see it. Stalkers are warping in. And having a look at the units tab here, we have 9 Stalkers for Praetor. 9 Stalkers and a Sentry. Is massing up. But pushing up this ramp is going to be brutal. We even have a fake Immortal. Let's go. Intentionally moving forward to tank some shots. Ooh, does confirm. Not adding too much to the fight here, but ooh, we have the high ground. Massive volleys go off. We take down a Stalker. We take down a Sentry. A very strong start for Trap, as Praetor did phase check up the ramp. Now we pull back to the safety of the shield battery. Again, 3rd pylon on the way on the high ground. I wouldn't mind a 2nd pylon down here, but honestly, there's no breaking this 3 Immortal setup. Adept's going to be shading in, but we have a probe in position to wall off. Oh, we don't quite wall off. We commit with the army. Praetor is going to dive in. Nice force field down and Trap. Oh my god. We get the force fields, limit charges popped, and the Immortal does go down. We get 1 Immortal, but only 1. We have 2 more left, and we clean up the entire army. The army crumbles. GG. Good luck in the next round, as Trap will take the series 2-0. We'll take down Praetor. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations here to Trap, as he does take the first series. Again, he came in as the favored player. Did come in as the favorite player here, but a shout out to Praetor. I appreciate that he didn't just go for the same build 2 games in a row, different all-ins, and especially in that first game, didn't have a bad, didn't have necessarily the worst showing against Trap. Was able to, you know, take down some units and face off against him. For those that are curious, Praetor is a diamond player, and hey, you can say, yo, I killed some Stalker. I killed some of Trap's Stalkers. Let's go. I always remember when I was in diamond. I always remember when I killed Keen's first Reaper. Yeah. Good stuff, good stuff. So big shout out to Praetor. Thank you so much for competing here this week, especially up against some of the other big names and big players in the scene. And now Trap will advance on. We'll advance on into his next series, into another PvP. And this is what we've been waiting for. This is what we've been waiting for here, as up next we have Trap versus Showtime. It's Showtime, Bobby. Here we go. This is the big reason why we dove on Trap versus Praetor as the first series, is because Showtime is lying in wait for the winner of that series. Of course, this is a brutal early round match, but Trap, because he's been in the military for so many years and has been inactive for so long, he doesn't really have many EPT points. Seeding is a thing in these weekly tournaments, and Showtime clearly is, I think, the number 2 seed of the tournament. I think Asola's number 1, Showtime's number 2, and Trap, without any points, is going up against Showtime early on. Feels seeding, man. But I mean, I'm here for it. I am here for it. Oh boy, vetoes are underway, and we will soon dive into another PvP. Now, Trap is now warmed up. You know, he's warmed up at this point, ready to go. Showtime may have been watching, may not have been, maybe just preparing. on his own end of things. And Showtime, he's not a stranger to ESL Open Cup Asia. For those that were here at the start of the year, the very start of the year, I'm talking January, Showtime was actually competing in these tournaments. In the lead up to IEM Katowice, Showtime did play in these ESL Open Cup Asias, which was really surprising. I was like, oh my god, like, well, it's crazy. Like, are we going to make this like a regular thing? After IEM Katowice, he never showed up again. So it was more of an anomaly, or I should say maybe it was just in preparation for IEM. But regardless, now Showtime, he's back. Now he's back, looking to take advantage of this opportunity, of the fact that we have so many players traveling, so many players not at home and not able to compete. So this could be Showtime's tournament. Likewise, Trap, returning from the military, has shown off quite a bit of play already. And can he take it to Showtime? Like, Trap, he's only been back from the military like a month and a half, maybe like 5 weeks at most. He hasn't been back that long, but Trap has been looking quite impressive as of late. Like, he's been taking maps and taking series off of some big names. I still would favor Showtime here, but I want to believe that we can make a series out of this. I want to believe, and here we go, spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Oceanborn, we have our German Protoss player, the Red Protoss representing Berlin International Gaming, BIG. It is Showtime. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have the Blue Protoss player representing himself currently, teamless, returning from the military. It is Trap. We are going to be settling in. Oh. I think they're talking about the map order. Okay. And we are moving out across the map, sending out our first couple of workers, trying to get a read on the openers of choice. Would you have, for the time being, the beginnings of, I imagine, a 2-gate opener. But the workers are coming in. There's the second gateway on the way for Trap. And on the way for Showtime. So 2 gate openers all around. No one is going for any kind of risky gate expand. Now, we saw in the last game on this map that Trap was willing to open up Sentry without a second unit to get into a faster Nexus. I'm curious if we'll do that here against Showtime. Oh, my apologies. Someone is letting us know that Trap is on a team. My apologies. I didn't miss that. But thank you so much. Thank you so much for letting us know, and I will fix that on the overlays. So thank you, Papi, thank you. Apparently on Genji. Not to be confused with Genji. But thank you. I guess I missed that announcement. When did this happen? June 2 days ago. Oh, sorry, 3 days ago. Okay, lovely. I'm like, how did I miss this? When did this happen? Oh, okay. So apparently on the 1st of June, right now it's the 3rd of June, but on the 1st, Trap did join a new team, which is honestly really cool to hear. I look forward to it. Hope that Trap is able to get the support that he so needs to be able to compete and devote his time and improve at the game once again. Back at home, Trap going for a Stargate opener, still staying on one base as we have a pylon block. Meanwhile, across the map, Showtime going for his own tech of choice, I imagine. Probe out on the map. Let's go. We'll see how Showtime does piece this all together. Do we expand? It looks like we will. Yeah, okay, it's going to be an expansion first here from Showtime. Across the map, Trap still knocking down those pylons. Now, even though Trap's expansion is going to be later, what he will have is oracles. Now, these oracles, their goal here is to get some economic damage done to catch up in that worker count, as Showtime does have a slight lead. Likewise, we have Adepts moving out across the map. Their goal here to shade into a mineral line to one-shot workers. 2 Adepts do one-shot. Did I say 2 Adepts? We have 4. As we are moving out, we could even try to focus on some of these sentries. They are more robust than they once were. They will threaten the shade. Oracle's on the way. Adepts keeping the army busy, going for the sentry, and oh, can we get it? Oh, we barely can. One sentry goes down. We trade a sentry for an adept. At the same time, Oracle making his way into the main base. We do have some stalkers in position just in time. But we'll still get some workers. 2 probes go down. The Oracle will barely escape. Whew. We'll get away. Adepts once again shading in. Showtime. Ooh, walls off in time. Oh my god. Be careful, pal. We're able to wall off, and we do see Trap expanding back at home. Again, it's a slightly later expansion, but he does catch up on those workers. Does get a couple of probe kills, and we'll get another worker here in between the bases. Not bad. And this may force this... Okay, there we go. I was going to say it may force the shield battery to finish, but we have another probe in position. We're okay. Back at home, Blink is on the horizon for both players, both Showtime and Trap, working on Blink. We have a third gate on the way for Trap, so we'll have the production advantage, and can be a little bit more aggressive as a result. I'm curious if Showtime will be the first to expand, or whether he throws down a Robo, another gateway, or he plays it safe. Adept still being active. Hallucination keeping eyes and keeping track of at least one of these oracles. There is a second though. Second oracle looking to join the first. 2 oracles can get an insane amount of damage done. Showtime in position. And the oracles meet up. So really nice attention to detail there. Trap, he was intentionally hiding that second oracle for as long as he could. So Showtime doesn't know how much of a threat there is. But Showtime is in position. And we come in from behind. We get 1 probe. Oof. 2 in total. Oracle's back off. Third base is on the way for both players. Slightly faster for Showtime. We'll take the faster expansion. Rapid slightly behind in the third base timing. Ooh, and it's going to be calming things down. And again, at least these oracles are still alive. So far, we've gotten 5 probe kills with the aggression of Trap. But as they're still alive, they can always dive back in once again. Showtime getting in position. Trap looking to apply some pressure. Again, Trap has a Stalker lead, I believe. Ooh, no, never mind. I was like, I believe he should be up in Stalkers as he's down a base, or slightly behind in bases. But Showtime is secure. And should be able to get into his 3-base setup. Trap is being active. But again, I imagine hoping to find a hallucination, maybe a stray unit here or there. Devs will check the third. And the main army does head for the natural. And we do find a Stalker. Not just one, we get a sentry as well. Stalker, 2 sentries going for the main army. We can 2-shot. Showtime not quite ready. At the same time, we have oracles in the main base, but Showtime's in position. He defends the main, but what about the third? We have the overcharge. We barely do. Whew. Okay. Unfortunately, these 2 adepts that shaded in were not focusing probes. They were focusing on the stalkers. They were a bit on A move there. So no economic damage dealt here at the third or in the main base. But we did trade well against the stalkers. Looking at the trades, see here, Trap shut down 5 stalkers and 2 sentries, bled out 3 stalkers of his own and 2 adepts. So a much better trade for our blue Protoss. Was a better trade, but Showtime has held. And now we're working towards our next step. We have +1, charge on the way, immortal production. Same can be said for Trap, as we're taking in the same direction. No one is going for a stalker heavy composition. There are players that like going into fast +1 and fast +2 and just go mass blink stalker. There are others that try to maybe rush into disruptors, for example. But for now, just blink stalker, charge lot, immortal. Interesting, Temple Archives on the way, so we do have Showtime being the first to take up towards Archons. Zealots can be quite difficult to deal with, but Archons can make short work of them. We are taking up. Meanwhile, we're going for the cancel. Just in time. Very nice moves. Apply Trap. We'll bleed out a Stalker, but a Stalker for a cancel base. Well worth it. The Oracles, they come in. And finally, we are out of position. Finally, Trappy finds the damage he's been looking for all game. 7 probes go down. Showtime was doing such a great job earlier, just keeping up, being in position, but not this time. It took a while, but these oracles are now paying for themselves. So Trap, he takes a worker lead. He's also ahead with his 4th base, as Showtime's forced to be cancelled. So a nice economic lead for Trap. That's going to be reflected in the size of the army, as we're going for some big warp ins. Hallucination goes down. Army is spotted. Now, when it comes to the army compositions, we do see... Okay, we're even in Stalkers. We're around even in Zealots. Showtime is up at Immortal. Now we're working on the Temple Archives. So Trap also thinking about those Archons, especially after seeing the amount of Zealots we're working with. Archon's going to be a big part of this. As you get Archons do so much splash damage here, and they're ideal against a Zealot-based army. Showtime does have that Archon lead for now. There we go. Another Weapon of High Templar for another Archon. +2 is going to be slightly ahead for Trap, but only by a couple of seconds. +2 is not too far behind for Showtime. This Trap is moving out. Prism has right, so we can reinforce. And it looks like we will have a handful of Archons getting involved as well. But it's still going to be about the engage. How do we approach this? Showtime behind this, we have a shield battery at the 3rd, shield battery at the 4th. Going to have an overcharge. 1 shield battery at each base. Not the most comprehensive defensive line, but we have our army in position. Archon's a little bit further back. And we're diving in. We go for the dive. We don't get the Prism. Prism barely does make it out, juggling those Immortals and forcing Trap back. The Archon's getting so many hits in, and the Zealot army of Trap, it melts. Zealots, well, we focus down an Immortal as well. Oh, it was saved, just barely. Yeah, but Showtime having the better engage. And Trap's going to be the one to lose the Prism. Prism goes down. Oh, this is not the fight to take, and Trap is being forced to his own side of the map. Oh, bleeding out so much. The Archons, the Immortals. The Concave was too good. The positioning as well from Showtime was just better. Now we're getting ready to move out across the map. We're going for a big counterattack. Trap in trouble. He's in trouble right now. But now Showtime going to be backing off, consolidating his army. He's going to be regrouping. Trap taking another base, taking another expansion. Trap still does have that that better economy, slightly. And is trying to re-max as quickly as possible. Only being active with the Stalkers. We do catch a Zealot. Zealot goes down. Showtime moving out. Looking at the armies. Again, Showtime has been able to maintain that Archon count up to 4 Archons. Yeah, Zealots aren't going to cut it. Not anymore for Trap. So rotating over. Rotating to the right-hand side. Trap trying to hold his own. Stasis is, spotted. Nice moves there by Showtime. Shuts down the Stasis. Rotating around. Not quite committing. As we have a pretty solid defensive line here at the 4th. That's a lot of cannons and shield batteries. And pushing towards the 3rd instead. Nice hold position micro out of Trap. Doesn't chase those Zealots. Doesn't chase them down. Maintaining his position. At the same time, Zealot run back here at the 4th base. No shield battery, but we can hold. Shield battery went down, but we do hold on. And we dive onto the 4th. And Trap out of position. Forced to come down the ramp. Overcharges pop up. We depower this. The overcharge. Shield battery is depowered. Archon's going ham. Reinforcements coming in. And does Showtime have enough? It looks like he does. Yeah, getting on top of the Archons. The Immortals going ham. Trap does come in with those reinforcements. Does have the defensive advantage. Gets an Immortal. But bleeds out Stalkers. Yeah, bleeding out too many Stalkers in the process. More Zealots on the way. Does Showtime have enough? Does lose the Immortal though. And Trap is barely holding on. We force this back. We dive on the Prism. And now it's time for Trap's Immortals to shine. Showtime has to retreat. We have another Prism? Okay. Didn't even notice. 2 more Prisms. We can keep going. Army is spotted. Trap pulling back. Still a very tense situation. Still a very tense moment. But this Archon count is still quite healthy for Trap. Will hold the line. Showtime rotating over towards the 5th base. Oh my god! Oh, the boy's being pulled. Overcharge is popped. Trap gonna be losing a lot of workers. It does lose that worker lead. Going for another big warping of Zealots. And the base is gonna be going down. Trap is being overwhelmed. Nexus falls. See Trap fall behind in that supply. Archons are what they can, but GG gets called as Trap has been broken, and Showtime takes game number 1. Whew. GG. Oh my god. GG, well played. There were some good moments for both players. A massive moment, of course, in that game was when Trap did push out at the 3rd base and did overextend. Had a comparable army to Showtime, but the engagement itself was brutal. We saw Showtime's Archons just annihilate those ults so quickly, and Trap lost a little momentum after that failed push. From there, Showtime was able to gain map control, and it looked like that maybe Trap would be able to hold on against the aggression of Showtime, and he barely did for a while, but eventually was overwhelmed. GG, well played. Showtime takes the lead. Takes the lead in the series. But what I will say, and what I'm most impressed by, I mentioned this before, Trap hasn't been back for too long. He's been back for like a month, maybe just over a month. He's been back to StarCraft, and for Trap to look like that against Showtime, it bodes well. Does bode well here, as that was a back and forth. Showtime did take it in the end, and Showtime is favored in this series, but I feel like more than anything, we all want to see kind of the state of play of Trap, right? Like, what does he look like now? What will he look like in another week, in another month, in another 3 months, right? Like, the rate of progression and the rate of improvement is what we're all focusing on for Trap, I feel. Here we go. Spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Alkyone, we have our German Protoss player, the Red Protoss representing Berlin International Gaming, BIG. It is Showtime. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the Blue Protoss player, representing his new team, Genji Esports. I almost said Genji Impact. I don't. I was thinking of Genshin. He's not representing Genshin Impact. Gen G Esports. There you go. It is Trap. I have to get used to that. Gen G. Not Genji. Not Genshin. Gen G. Okay. We got it. We got it. But yeah, really cool to see not even just Trap joining a new team, but I believe the team was founded specifically, or is a new team founded to support Trap, so much love here to the people behind Gen G Esports. It is really cool to hear. Really do appreciate it. And a big shout out to Sneak Josh 101 in the oh my god, Fappy. Thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you so much for the support. Hope you enjoy the content. Hope you enjoy the casting. And I hope you enjoy your emotes and replay packs in the chat. For those that are curious, our subscribers do gain replay packs from tournaments that we have permission to share. Tournaments like our own events, like Sparkling Tuna Cup, Grand Platypus Open, tournaments like Kung Fu Cup as well, OSC King of the Hill, and many others. Yo, if you want some of those Uwu Thermal Mark replays, yo, we got you covered. We cast a lot of Uthermal yesterday. Or if you want some Solar or Dark or Beyond, for Kung Fu Cup, we have you covered with that as well. Have you covered. Otherwise, we're diving in. Otherwise, we are diving into game number 2. We do have a Showtime going for his 2-gate opener. Likewise, so is Trap. Trap went Sentry into Expand. He skipped his second unit, so greedy move here out of Trap, opening up with a single Sentry for a faster expansion. Showtime opening up Sentry Stalker into a later expansion. So Trap is being greedy. Trap is being a little bit greedy here. He's cutting corners. We'll see if Showtime decides to try to punish this or just tries to catch up from behind, or from a slight deficit. There we go. Nexus is on the way. Showtime just following this up with sentries. Here we go. catching up with the chat. Thanks for the cast, Bobby. Ah, you're welcome. You're welcome. As we have our take of choice, going to be a Twilight Council opener at a Showtime. Once again, Hallucination comes in, and Trab should confirm this. There we go. He gets eyes on the tech. Gets eyes on the tech. Likewise, Trap doing the same. Both players working towards Blink this time. Trap is not going to be embracing the Stargate opener into Oracles. Not here. Not in Game 2. Not on Alcyone. Wow, the full name for BIG. For big. It's pretty big. Although I would prefer if Showtime and Hero Marine could up their member by 1. Yeah, we said this before at the start of WTL. I don't know if you were in the chat at the time. I think you might have been. But it would have been amazing to see like Big Mouse, like Hero Marine, Showtime, and maybe add another player and come together as one and create a team for WTL. For Team Big Mouse. Would have been beautiful. Or just create like a custom team name. As Showtime's working up towards his third base, so is Trap. So no early game aggression. We did open up Blink, but no additional gateways. Just 2 gateways here for Trap. Likewise, 2 gateways for Showtime. So just a low gateway count, busting into a third, and settling into our mid game. We are settling in. No early game aggression this time. As a reminder, in the previous game, we had Trap trying to be assertive with Adepts, with Oracles, testing the defenses of Showtime, and did eventually get some damage done, but it did take a while for that to really come into play. We can see Trap just taking a very different approach this time. I mean, talking about Alcyone, this is a bit of a larger map, more known for its macro, more known for its late game, even in PvPs. Like, PvPs can be very chaotic, very aggressive, and can end in an instant. But here between Trap and Showtime, we're easing our way in. Adepts are shading in for some aggression. We do catch 2 workers. Oh, almost a third. 3 probes go down, not bad. 3 probes with 2 Adepts. And Showtime does take a probe lead. So it is slightly ahead in that economy. Now getting into our gateways. +1 into our Robo. Likewise, so is Trap. +1 is on the way. And again, Trap is holding his own, even mining through those patches, going for the 4th base, not just the 4th, going for the gold. Oh my god. Trap, calm down. Ay, ay, ay. But yeah, Trap taking a bit of a risk here. There's something that you can do on Alcyone. Now, this gold base is exposed somewhat, as it can be attacked from either angle here, especially with our Xel'Naga tower. You can get eyes on this, and you can be quite assertive. We'll see if Trap can hold on and maintain this gold base. Meanwhile, Showtime takes a regular 4th. Now, with these gold minerals, this can afford us a lot of Zealots. Like, Charge Ults are a big part of mid-game PvP. They do provide a bulk of the army, a bulk of the supply, and with these extra minerals, we're going to have so many to work with. Extra gateways, extra Zealots. This base can really pack a punch. But we'll see if Trap can saturate it. But now Showtime moving out with his hallucination will finally get eyes on the expansion. Up until now, Showtime was not aware, but now is. And we do get a scout. I feel like now the pressure is on Showtime to be the aggressor. Extra weapon of Zealots. Do we have a Temple Archives? We do. Okay, we do have a Temple Archives for Showtime. Archon's going to be on the horizon. There we go. First Archon's on the way. Once again, I feel like Archon's going to be crucial here in this PvP, as I imagine we're going to be quite Zealot heavy. Likewise, Trap just finished his own Temple Archives, and will soon work on his own Archons as well. Showtime is moving out. Doesn't quite catch the hallucination. Trap does slip in. By Showtime getting ready to push forward. We do have additional cannon shield batteries on the way. Sorry, 3 shield batteries here at the gold. Trap, he's ready for an assault. Meanwhile, Showtime bypassing the main army, going for the rooks. And it can now push right in between the natural and the third. We have options. Oh, Trap backs off. He does notice the rooks have been knocked down. Does retreat. Pulling back, exposing the fourth base a little bit more. Showtime sharking around, looking for his angle of attack. Do we go for the fourth? Do we go for the natural? How do we push in? No additional gases yet. Showtime still only on 3. So once again, mainly a Zealot army. Waiting for a third Archon to morph in. Likewise, Trap also working on his third Archon as well. Showtime trying to distract Trap. We do have the Observer to get eyes on the ramp. Trap gonna be the one moving out. Oh, we don't quite commit. Showtime pushing up the ramp. Trap out of position. He's racing on back home. Does go for the warp in. Observer gets caught. And Showtime going right for the natural. Pulling back, trying to get a better concave. Trying to get a better angle. Does pull back to his warp prism. We go for the blink. We go for the dive. The prism goes down. No more reinforcements. The stalkers are falling. But that is a sea of zealots. Decent force fields though. We catch a good chunk of zealots, and Showtime does have to back off. Warp prism's on the way. It's being remade. Again, that was a good attack by, good defense by Trap, shutting down the prism, force fielding the army, making sure the Archons weren't really a part of the fight. Showtime's, I mean. Showtime is being forced back. At the same time, Zelarabai denies the would-be gold. We can hit the fourth. Showtime does respond in time, is in position. We'll force back those zealots. Showtime halfway through +3. That is going to be quite impactful here. I'm a little bit concerned. +3 not starting for Trap. There's no working on those upgrades. The armies, they miss each other. No! We miss. Again, the Observer was sniped earlier, and Showtime is going right for the natural. Trap, base trade. Oh, do we go for the base trade? We pull back. We're pulling back home. Showtime busting into the natural, denies the warp in. Probes are going down. Again, Trap just missing the army completely. And now pushing up a ramp. Oh my god. Yeah, we have the high ground. We have the concave. Showtime taking the better fight. And Showtime just crushes this. Just like that, we have Zealots in the goal base. The main army crumbles. And we annihilate the workers at the natural as well. Showtime winning on 3 fronts. And Trap is falling apart. He was holding his own up until now. Well, that's going to show how important map vision can be. The prism falls as well. Overcharge is popped. Overcharge is good, but it's not that good. As they pull the army out of range, GG gets called, and Showtime will take the series 2-0, advancing on to the next round. GG. Whew. GG, well played. A very interesting PvP there, which was very positional based, especially towards the end. Felt almost like a TVT there. So just reporting the results. GG, well played. Congratulations to Showtime. Again, able to take things slow and steady, kind of opening up attack paths, knocking down those rocks, denying the Observer, which meant that it allowed Showtime to maneuver around the map without being scouted, without any vision. And Trap did miss the army. When the armies passed by each other, I thought Trap was going to commit to the base trade. I thought we were just going to send it and just go full base trade, but no, Trap, he turned back around, pushing up a ramp into a concave, into Showtime. Oh, it was just never going to work out well there. And again, he just wasn't able to defend his natural either. Things just went from bad to worse very quickly there. And congratulations. Congratulations to Showtime. And now we can catch up on the bracket. I'm sure we've had a lot of results coming in, a lot of updates, and I need to figure out where we want to go. Here we go. !B in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the bracket yourselves. Heading on over from the top, I think we have a little bit of time to go over here. We have Solar. I mentioned before that Solar, he got knocked out of DreamHack Dallas very early on in day 1. So it's possible that right after that, he raced back home. It's possible that maybe Solar booked an early flight and is already in Korea and is here ready to compete, ready to show up. Up against a player in the round of 16, up against Magical Cookie. Magical, yeah, okay. Up against Magical Cookie in the first round, followed by Lemon, as Lemon got the walkover over Miyamaika. Ooh, would have been lovely to have seen Miyamaika there, but Lemon does advance on. Waiting for the winner of Solar, most likely Solar or Magical Cookie. Scrolling down, we do have Firefly taking down Jim 2-0. Firefly is another big name. He's another big name looking to make a deep run. One of those players that can maybe contest against Solar in this tournament. Waiting for the winner of Smile and Cyan. Again, most likely Cyan versus Firefly in a PvP. That could go either way. Cyan is another big name. Again, there's just so many strong Protoss players coming out of China nowadays. Firefly, Cyan, Jeshi, where they do take down Koreans on a more regular basis nowadays. Scrolling down, speaking of, Coffee takes down Luna C 2-1. Very impressive stuff as Coffee advances on into the quarterfinals, waiting for either Rex or Jeshi in that round of 8. And scrolling down, we have our own upcoming series. We have Silky, the Chinese Zerg player, best Zerg player in all of China, up against Nanami Chiaki in the round of 16. Again, I believe Nanami Chiaki is another Zerg player, otherwise known as Moku. Does name change quite often. I'm shaking my head. But that ZVZ is currently ongoing. Winner goes up against Showtime. We will most likely wait for this series. I mean, it's hard to say. There are a lot of really good matches. Like, I would love to see Coffee versus Rex or Jeshi. I mean, all three of these players comparable in skill. Likewise, Firefly, Cyan. Likewise, Solar, Lemon into Firefly or Cyan. Like, it's all good. it's all high quality. So, we'll see. I mean, traditionally on the channel, we try to follow players and try to keep things structured. So we'll most likely follow Showtime into his next series, and then go into the lower semifinals. But I'm a big Firefly fan. That's the problem. I love Firefly, so I would love to catch him at some point as well. We'll see. We'll see. Catching up. I'm catching up in the chat. No, all the Archons are hallucinated. Say the Immortals did. The Immortals did a lot in the back line. I remember you're referring to game 1. That is true. You know what's better than 1 prism? 2 prisms. I just came back from the dead. Yeah, massive shout to Sneak Josh. I kind of glossed over it, but Sneak Josh, a big part of the Australian StarCraft community, especially back in the day. So, hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you again. Good to see you. Unless I'm thinking of another Sneak Josh. I might be. I can't quite recall. Is this match being played on the Korean server? Yes. Yes. So I'm just catching up. Give Harry, let's go. Solo really prefers to race home if he's out of an offline tournament. I think it's happened before. I think it has happened before. But that's what I'm assuming. I mean, if we get to cast Solo later, I'll ask him if he's back in Korea to confirm. I'm pretty sure he is. But yeah, with that, I guess we are going on a short break. I don't think there's any series available at the moment. Let me just double check once again what is happening in game. Rex is out of game, so I'll send Rex a message, see if he finished versus Jeshi. Otherwise, I might try to catch Silky. Regardless, we're going on a short break. We're going to be going on a short break. When we return, we will have some more matches. Either, you know, Silky versus Nanami Chiaki into Showtime, maybe a series up here. We'll figure it out. we'll find something. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and we'll be back in a couple of minutes. Take this moment to stretch your roaches, hydrate hydras, massage your marines, get some snacks, get some water, and we'll be back soon. And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Oh, I was just a little bit caught off guard, but welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the quarterfinals of the ESL Open Cup Asia number 230. Ooh, and we have our next match. We have our next series spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Golden Aura. We have our Red Protoss player representing Berlin International Gaming, BIG. It is showtime. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, let me just quickly set up his name. There we go. In the top left, we have his opponent. We have the orange Zerg player, the best Zerg player in all of China, representing his team PCEC. It is Silky. We go. So I was just trying to find another series, trying to figure out what was going on. Apparently, Coffee got a walkover. Coffee got a walkover over Jeshi. Jeshi had some place to be. Something came up and had to, unfortunately, bow out of the tournament. So there was no series held there. But Coffee is already in the semifinals. As a result of that forfeit, Coffee is in those semifinals, and Coffee is waiting for the winner of this series, waiting for either Silky or Showtime, one or the other. Again, Showtime coming in as a heavy favorite. Can it be stopped? Can it be slowed down? Can we deny the Solar v Showtime finals? Can we pull it off? We're here to find out. For now, it's going to be a Hatch Gas full standard opener out of Silky, forced to take the unnatural natural here on Golden Aura. Meanwhile, Showtime going for the gate expand into Cybercore standard opener out of our German Protoss. Standard openers so far. And we'll see where this all leads us. We'll see where it takes us. But again, hope everyone in the chat has been enjoying themselves. Hope everyone has been having a good time. Again, there's so many matches going on, and I would love to cast it all. I apologize that I believe I'm the only stream currently for tonight's broadcast. I don't think there's a second stream covering the upper matches, but I'll do my best to try to cover as much as I can. If our lower semifinals is a little bit faster, then we might be able to catch the upper semifinals as well. That'll be the ideal. That will be the ideal. As we do have our players settling in. It is going to be a Stargate opener by Showtime. Should be Stargate into Oracle. Meanwhile, across the map, Silky fighting for his third. The probe being as annoying as possible, but the probe is going to be zoned away, and now we can now expand and take our third hatchery. As he does shade in between the bases. Alas, it won't get here in time. The hatchery has been placed, and Silky can get a better handle of his own base setup. Expanded, going to be droning up, establishing his 3 bases. He's establishing those bases, and now it's going to be on Showtime trying to break those bases. Now we have 2 Adepts. Again, 2 Adepts do one-shot drones. Going to be shading in towards that mineral line, and we don't quite get much damage done. We get one tumor and 1 link. Not bad. We get the hell out of there, and here come the eventual Oracle production. Again, it should be triple Oracle into a 3rd base. Very standard build by Showtime. Everything looking as it should. Ling's going to be coming in first round. We do try to catch the Adepts, and the movement a little bit too good from Showtime. Does slip away. Again, did oil up his Adepts ahead of time, and Silky just could not get a grasp on them. Will escape, and the Oracle is now headed in. Now headed for the main base. How many queens do we have in position? We have 1 queen in the main so far. Spore is on the way. And we can't ignore that queen. We can head for the mineral line. We're going to get at least a couple of drones. 2, 3 drones go down. Oh, can we get a 4th? Not quite. Whew. 3 workers in total. Lings get across the map. They get the probe, but the 3rd is up and running. So not a bad start for Showtime. You know, getting a couple of workers, shaving off some Lings, getting his 3rd base up and running. So far, so good. And now we have our follow-up. A very interesting follow-up. Do you see what I see? I see a Twilight Council. I don't see a Forge. Okay. This could be one of 2 things. We could be working towards Glaive Adepts. This could be a Glaive Adept follow-up here to just hit like a truck and catch the Zerg player off guard. Or this could be Fast Blink. Could be Fast Blink to hit a 3-base all-in. This pylon is denied. But with Fast Blink, you can be very assertive very early on. Apply pressure. Wreak havoc and snowball out of control. And we have our answer. It is a Glaive Adepts. Okay. Again, it was going to be one or the other. It's going to be Glaives from Showtime. And the goal here is to catch Silky off guard. Again, Silky should be droning. We scouted a third, right? We scouted a third. We scouted a Stargate opener. Right now, Silky should be safe to drone. And if Silky skips the Roach... Oh, we're skipping the Roach Warren. Uh-oh. If Silky skips the Roach Warren, if we drone up too much, if we're too greedy, then the Glaive Up follow-up can snowball out of control. Now, this is only the first wave of aggression. This is pretty standard. 6 Adepts across the map. Sorry, 7 Adepts across the map. That's actually a little bit more committed. Glaives is still not done. Well, this can still get some damage dealt here as we move out across the map. Lings are trying to keep up. We're headed for the would-be 4th base. Quite commit. Pulling back. Testing the waters, forcing out more Lings. We're going to be relying on Banelings instead. This is a really risky maneuver here from Silky, but he's going to be relying on Banelings to deal with the Glaive Adepts. Not going to be easy. As Glaives is now done. Finishing up in 5 seconds. And there are no Banelings ready. Uh-oh. Without any Banelings, we cannot deal with this as we shade into the main base. Oracle's coming in to support as well. We're going for the Mineral Lines. Lings coming in for the surround. Not a bad engage here from Silky. But the Lings, they're melting. The Lings are melting. They're all going down one after the other. We shade into the natural. And we get 5 drone kills, and we're not done. Nowhere close. We still have those Oracles in the back line, ready to dive in at a moment's notice. And they're going for the main. We shade into the 3rd base. Lings are lying in wait, but they're being cleaned up. The Oracles, they bust into the main. Drones are going down. There is no Spore. 14, 16 worker kills. A full Mineral Land goes down, and Showtime is snowballing out of control. It's becoming far too much. As we're trying to keep up, we just can't. Finally, the Adepts are dealt with. Finally. They're going to be cleaned up. But Silky is down to 45 workers against the 64 of Showtime. And now we're getting ready for the second wave. Now we have +1 on the way, Blink on the way. We're massing up Blink Stalkers as we speak. Silky is stuck redroning and resaturating, and by the time he is resaturated, there's going to be an army knocking down his front door. And Silky's just not going to have anything to defend. Again, there's no Roach Warren, there's no Hydroden, it's only Ling Bane, and even then, it's barely any Ling Bane, as we're still droning. The army's been spotted. The army has been spotted. And Showtime is looking to snowball out of control. Behind this, taking a 4th. Wait, we didn't even need a 4th, but may as well. Just to secure ourselves, just in case. We have a Hydroden on the way, but it just started. Needs time to get going. Showtime is pushing in. So here we go. We're headed for that 3rd. Hatchery taking a lot of hits. Queen's trying to dive in. I mean, that's a lot of Queens. But there's just no Ling Bane. There's no support. You have Lings coming in from behind. Oracles are here to throw down their pulse. I mean, it's not even... We just rely on the Blink Stalkers. We just rely on our Stalkers. We focus on the Queens one after the other. And there's almost nothing left. GG gets called. Showtime takes game number 1. GG. GG, well played. Whew. A solid game there from Showtime. Again, just snowballing out of control with his initial Glaive Adept follow-up. Was unscouted, and it is unfortunate. That Silky was not able to confirm what was happening. That Silky decided to skip his Roach Warren. That was another big part of the defense. The fact that Silky did end up skipping it and going for the Ling Bane, and did mean that we just didn't have what we needed to defend against those Glaive Adepts. Silky caught with his pants down. And with that, Showtime is 1 game away from advancing on into the semifinals. As a reminder, in those semis, Coffee is waiting, the Chinese Terran player. Here we go. We go as we're diving into that second game, and we have switched colors. Lovely. I'll fix that up. 1 minute. Bam, beautiful. As spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Oceanborn, we have our German Protoss player, the Red Protoss representing Berlin International Gaming, BIG. It is Showtime. leading the series 1-0, and spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Chinese Zerg player, the blue Zerg, representing his team, PCEC. It is Silky. Here we go. Showtime immediately moving out across the map is going to be denying the natural expansion, forcing the third base to be taken instead, forcing Silky to be a little bit more uncomfortable here in game 2. Just a little bit. And again, Showtime showing us that he's willing to be aggressive. Now again, he did not play an all-in last game. It was a Stargate opener into a third base, into Glaive Adepts. The Glaive Adepts did need to do some damage, but they did more than just some damage. They crippled the economy, they won Showtime the game. But I don't expect the same build 2 games in a row. I don't expect it again. We can see something different. We can see a Twilight Council opener into 4-gate Glaives. We can see a DT opener into an Archon drop. We could see just a standard game into +1 Blink. Or even a 3-base all-in with no gases with 8 gates behind it. We'll see how Showtime will approach this. For now, gate expand into Cybercore. Standard opener out of Showtime. Standard opener so far. So we are going to be settling in. The probe across the map being as annoying as possible. Disrupting the economy. Go. As I'm lying in wait to see what Silky brings to the table. And I've been focusing a lot on what Showtime's going to be doing. From the side of Silky, he is traditionally a very aggressive Zerg player. We've seen him take down some big names in WTL in the past, specifically with all-ins. Specifically with like some hidden all-ins, like a Link Bane bust, or like a Link Drop-a-Lord, like a Queen all-in, or something like that. Link Queen all-in with Drop-a-Lords, or with Nidus Worms. We have seen a lot of cheese from Silky work quite well against some of the best players in the world. But so far, this series has been quite standard. So far, we haven't been seeing too much deviation out of Silky. I guess game 1, Silky was trying to go into Lingbane Hydra, but didn't quite get there. Silky was being greedy, cutting corners. I'm sure Silky has learned his lesson, and we may see a Roach Warren this time instead. I mean, Roach-based all-ins on Oceanborn are not uncommon. We saw it so often at DreamHack. Like, every single time we load into Oceanborn, I'm like, we very often see, you know, Roach, like, 3-base all-ins in ZVP, and then it just, that's what it would be. We saw Lambo do it, we saw Alasia do it, we saw Solar do it as well. So a lot of 3-base all-ins on Oceanborn over the weekend in this matchup. But we'll see. As Lings are moving out across the map, getting eyes on the Adepts. So far, we do hold the line. It is going to be the Stargate opener for Showtime. First Oracle's moving out, second Oracle's on the way, and we should be expanding from here. So it's going to be a triple Oracle into a third. From here, I guess it could still be a Fast Twilight Council into Glaives. It could be Fast Twilight Council into Blink. It could be just a Forged Twilight Council into a standard game. We'll see. Try to piece together what Showtime is up to. Oracle does dip in, Spore not done in time. We do get 2 drone kills. Not bad. Meanwhile, that is a Bailey Nest, and we are cutting workers at 33. We're going for a Bane Bust. This feels like a Bane Bust from Silky. He's making 1 drone, but only 1 drone. He's amassing Lings. Queens are moving forward. It's time to send it. It's time to send it, papi. Let's go. Now, Showtime back at home. He hasn't seen too much. Adepts are about to shade in and are about to get surrounded. Ooh. Yeah, Lings are in position, and we do get us around on 2 Adepts. 2 Adepts will go down. The others, they do pull back against the wall. Oracle comes in. A lot of Lings are going down, and 2 Adepts survive. Behind this, we have a Forge into a Twilight Council. It's going to be a standard follow-up. And Silky's all in. The Queen is there waddling across the map. This isn't quite the all-in I was expecting. This is a 2-base all-in, as we only have even under 2-base saturation with 34 workers. But the all-in has been spotted. It has been confirmed. Back at home, what do we have? We need shield batteries. Yeah, we're recalling back. Oracle is recalled. We have a shield battery here at the natural, and we're going to need more than that. As Banelings are on the way, they're spotted. They're confirmed. Oh, and they are denied. That is unfortunate. That's so unlucky. Not again. As Banelings are being shut down one after the other. This is a Ling Bane all in without the Bane, as not a single Baneling does complete. This is so delayed. This is so heavily delayed. Here third time's a charm. A third wave of Banelings in production. Queens are waddling forward. Showtime preparing at the third. Cannons, shield batteries, all being thrown down. Oracle's banking up energy. And Silky has to commit. As we do try to slip in. Solid force field. Those don't away those Banelings. Overcharges pop. The Stalkers, they hold the line. The Lings, they do nothing. Yeah, the overcharge is a little bit too strong here as we're able to hold on and just maintain our position. Mineral line is safe and sound. Force field thrown down once again. Denying those Banelings. They are being targeted. Lings, they do break through the back line though. But there's just nothing left. Yeah, no more Lings remaining. Queens are falling one after the other. Showtime has held. Tim Power does show his face once again. GG gets called. Showtime takes the series 2-0, advancing on to the semifinals. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations to Showtime as he does flex his aggression in Game 1 and his defense in Game 2. Again, able to show some success here in both kind of forms, in both the offense and the defense. GG, congratulations. Showtime does advance on, and we have our next series getting ready for us. When it comes to Silky, it was just an unfortunate execution of the all-in. It got scouted, it got shut down early on by the Oracles and by the Adepts, and the Banelings, it took them so long to morph in. The all-in was so heavily delayed as a result, and it gave Showtime extra time, valuable time, to throw down cannons, shield batteries, warp in, gather energy on the sentries for the force fields. It all just came together for Showtime. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations. Showtime will take it in the end, and now we're getting ready for our next series. I mentioned before, but we do have a player lying in wait in the semifinals. We have our next matchup. It's going to be Showtime versus Coffee. Let's go. Let's go, just double checking our team of choice. Beautiful. But for the first time tonight, it's going to be a Protoss versus Terran. Again, we're just kind of following Showtime here. We're going through all the facets here, all the faces of Showtime, PvP, PvZ, and now PvT. Now, Coffee is one of the best Terran players in China, and he does actually pose a threat to Oliveira from time to time. We have seen Coffee off race as well a little bit, but Coffee is a force to be reckoned with. Coffee's a very unique player. He comes up with his own builds, and he can catch players off guard, even players of the caliber of Showtime. So even though Showtime has yet to drop a map in this tournament, I would say that Coffee has the potential to take maps and even take series. Showtime is still the favorite player, don't get me wrong. Showtime is still favored coming into this, but Coffee can hold his own. Coffee can hold his own. Do you want to believe he can pose a threat here to Showtime? We'll see if he can, as we will also be preparing those predictions. Predictions are going to be getting ready here. Just messaging our players and getting those predictions ready. I know that we haven't been having predictions so far in the tournament, but now that we're here in the semifinals, you can get your Gamba going. The Gamba can get going. So you can put your channel points on the line for who you believe will take it. I'll try to have predictions for the finals as well, and for the upper semifinals if we get there. If we are able to catch that. We got you. We got you. And it looks like the vetoes are done. Vetoes have concluded. And we have our lobby of choice. It is going to be Golden Aura as game 1. Now you can hear the beats. We're going to be loading on in. If you're in the chat, best of luck upon hearing this message. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you believe will advance onto the grand finals. Will Showtime continue his reign of dominance here and go undefeated without dropping a map? Or will Coffee put a chink in the armor? Will Coffee expose Showtime for being a mere mortal? Or is he not? Let's go. Let's dive into this. Let us dive in. And sporting in the bottom right-hand corner of Golden Aura, we have our German Protoss player, the Red Protoss, representing Berlin International Gaming. BIG. It is Showtime. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have the Chinese Terran player, the Blue Terran, representing Mystery Gaming. It is Coffee. Let us go. Okay, just posting in the chat, making sure predictions open. Everyone is aware. Also, a massive shout out to Macrocosm in the chat as well. Big shout out to Macrocosm for subscribing with Twitch Prime for 5 months. Almost half a year of support. Thank you so much, Macrocosm. We do appreciate the support. Hope you've been enjoying the content, the casting. Hope you've been having a great time. Welcome. Welcome, of course. Welcome back to ESL Open Cup Asia. And it's been a fun tournament so far. Able to feature Trap versus Showtime earlier. Able to feature Silky. Now we have Coffee. And on the other side of the bracket, Solar is also creeping up on those finals. He's getting there. We'll see if he can be stopped as well. Again, you can have a look at the bracket yourselves. !B in the chat if you guys want to have a gander at how the bracket has been progressing. And Coffee opening up economically here. Okay, single gas opener from our Chinese Terran player. Interesting. Not opening up aggressively yet. Going for the expansion. Showtime is posing a bit of a nuisance here. It does delay the CC for a second or two. But Coffee will get it on location. Now Showtime has confirmed that it's an economic opener, so he should be feeling pretty comfortable coming into this. Can settle into his own builds, going for the Gate Cyber Expand. Just a standard safe opener out of Showtime. Not cutting any corners. With this, we're going for our first Adept. Adept can then shade across the map, can pose a threat to the CC, can threaten to shade into the main. So we have our factory follow-up. Okay, so Coffee is not going for a 3 racks or a 3 CC build. He is going for that factory. Interesting, but that is a second racks on the way. Now, this is quite aggressive. We're delaying the starport by quite some time. We could go for a third racks as well for a 3-1-1 setup. And this could be the beginning of 2-base aggression from Coffee. We'll see. We'll keep an eye on the timing of that. Yeah, there it is. There's the third racks. So, yep, there's that 3-1-1 setup. This doesn't have to be an all-in. This could just be an aggressive start to expand thereafter. Or we could pull the boys. This is the beginning of like a 2-base all-in where you pull the boys, you send it across the map. We saw it a lot over the past couple of days from players like Hon Mono, players like Ubu Thermal, and even at DreamHack. We saw some of the Korean Terrans embrace this sort of style as well. See how committed Coffee is going to be with this. Typically this is going to be rushing to Stim, and it's going to be a Stim timing. With this Tech Lab, Stim is going to be on the way. We're going to be building up a Bio Army. We could sprinkle in some Marauders. We'll see how Coffee builds up. Meanwhile, across the map, Showtime is settling in, going for his tech of choice. It's going to be a Twilight Council opener into Blink. Very safe opener out of Showtime, and it's going to be 2-gate Blink into a third, question mark. Ooh, a more economic build. As he does shade across the map. Ooh, takes down 1 Marine, takes down a second. And 2 Marines go down, but the Cyclone does make it back in time, and we don't lose any SCVs. And I don't see a third gateway. So this is going to be a 2-gate build into a third base. Very economic here out of Showtime. Not as safe as I thought he was going to play. Tank production has already commenced. I believe we're going to be pushing with 2 tanks, maybe 3 tanks, but I believe 2 tanks is lined up with Stim. And then I don't see a starport. We could just pull the boys. Let's go, Papi. Let's go. So I'm a little bit concerned for Showtime. A little bit. This is not the most amazing setup that he has, but we can move out with these Stalkers. The point of moving out with Stalkers at this moment, would be to slow down the push. Would be to slow it down, chip away at the army here in the center of the map, force a stim, maybe force a siege, maybe even pick off the tank as it moves out. There's potential, and here we go. The army is marauding around a little bit more, being a little bit more active. We're still waiting for our upgrades to kick in. Stim is finishing up combat shields. Ooh, a little bit supply blocked. Not ideal. The Bay is on the way after the third base. Again, the Bay has been delayed in favor of the economy. Showtime working towards a longer game. This is all looking up as we catch the Observer. It's time to go. It's time to go. We catch the Observer. Limited vision here. The army is moving out for Showtime. Second tank has arrived. We go for the Unsiege, and we're pushing. Let's go. Coffee is moving out. Showtime does catch the move out. And can we pick up the tank? Does get a couple hits. Here we go. The boys have been pulled. It is a 2-base all-in that we did mention. And one way or another, the game is about to end. Either Showtime, either Coffee kills Showtime or he dies trying. We do get a couple hits in. Again, it's so important here to just pick away at the Marines. Oh, to pick up whatever we can before the army gets across the map. And we have softened up some Marines, but we haven't killed anything yet. One Marine. So far, one Marine has gone down for one Adept. The boys are here. The boys have arrived as Coffee's rallying everything across the map. Good kiting here from Showtime. Pulling back. We have 2 shield batteries at the third base. We have 2 more on the way. At the natural, boys are being pulled. The Colossus is in production, but without it, we can't hold on. Without it, the boys go down. Zolts as well. The overcharge is putting in a lot of work, but the tanks have sieged. And the shield battery goes down, but the Colossus will come out just in time. Is it going to be enough? Showtime has preserved a lot of his Stalkers, but oh, I spoke too soon. Stalkers go down. The Colossus does pop out. Third base will fall, but that doesn't matter. Coffee needs more than the third. He has to go for the kill. Actually, he's taking a third base of his own. He's crazy. He's expanding. I guess we can, as we're going for the national. We depower the Robo. Robo is depowered. Big tank shots going up. Zelce close the distance. They get on top of one of those tanks. One tank does fall, but the Colossus falls, and Coffee has broken the natural. GG gets called, and Coffee takes game number 1. Let's go. GG, well played. Coffee takes a lead in the series. This is what we spoke about Coffee. He's a very aggressive player and can pose a threat to Showtime. Showtime is still the favorite player, but Coffee is now 1 game away from advancing on into the grand finals. Again, the build of Showtime, it was unfortunate what he was going for. Winding it back a little bit here. Remember, Showtime opened up 2 gates, Blink, into a third, into a delayed Bay, into delayed Immortal production, or into delayed Colossus. No safety Immortal either. Showtime was being a little bit greedy. He was being very economic focused, and it took him a while to piece together what was going on. It was so unlucky as well that he lost the Observer as it was moving out across the map, so it was a later scout for Showtime. Everything was, the stars were aligning. Everything was just going so well there for Coffee, and the all-in, it just hit too hard. Just hit like a truck. Sure, we did slow it down a little bit. We picked away at some Marines. We got 1 Marine kill before the army moved out across the map. Oh. Coffee snowballs out of control. GG. And will this be a 2-0, or will we go to the ace match? Let's go. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Crimson Court, we have our Red Protoss player. From the land of Germany, representing Berlin International Gaming, BIG. You need your support in the chat to force the ace match. As he's down in the series, can he bounce back? It is Showtime. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Chinese Terran player, the Blue Terran, representing Mystery Gaming, leading the series 1-0 with the 2-base all-in. What do we have planned for game number 2? It is Coffee. Here we go. Now, I don't expect the same build 2 games in a row. I don't expect another 2-base all-in. Yep, there we go. We have a second gas being taken. So already the opener for Coffee is different. We're going to be opening up 2 gas, which is going to lead into a faster factory. It's going to be a delayed expansion. This is, you can take it one of two ways. A very safe build, yes, but it can also be quite aggressive. It's very tech heavy, right? Because of the faster factory, you can go into a faster starport, you can go Reacted Reaper Hellion, you can go for a Hellion drop, a Mine drop, double Cyclone. There's a couple of different options here for Coffee. He's got options with how he wants to open this up. Does have options. As Showtime is going for his own expansion back at home. Just a gate cyber expand. Standard opener out of Showtime so far. No big tech paths yet. There's that factory on the way, as we did mention, as it was a double gas opener. And where do we go from here? My eyes, for now, are mainly on Coffee. There we go. It's going to be Reaper first into the Reactor. This could be for Reacted Reaper Hellion for some economic damage. The probe is hidden, as the probe does barely avoid the gaze of this Reaper. So we hide the worker. Now we can go back in for another scout. It's a very nice move here by Showtime, keeping that probe alive. Reaper gets across the map. It's going to be the CC on the high ground. Very safe expansion. The probe won't get eyes on the CC on the low ground because of that. So Showtime is a little bit in the dark. Reaper is denied entry into the main. Adept does come out, and it's going to be a Twilight Council opener out of Showtime, looking like another Blink-based opener. Meanwhile, there's a Reacted Reaper and the Hellions. Now, I'm curious to see if we only make 3 Reapers or if we go up to 5. Like, 5 Reapers would be like our tipping point, and it'd be quite committed. With that, we can bust into a mineral line and get some economic damage done. Second Rack's on the way. Not a starport. Interesting. And here comes our second and third Reaper. We're going up to another 3 racks. Okay. Marine production. Yep, we're going into marine production. So we have a triple Reaper, double Hellion moving out for some map control. This can pose a threat to the mineral line of Showtime if he's not careful. The goal here is to focus on the Adept, focus on the Stalker, and then bust in and kill some workers back at home. This is a very aggressive build. With the delayed starport, this looks like, once again, a very bio-centric, bio-heavy follow-up here in the mid-game. We're diving in. No shield battery. No shield battery whatsoever. Boys are being pulled. We're diving on that Adept. Adept goes down. And so will the Stalker. Probes are lining up. Oh, workers are going down. The Stalker will fall. But we should clean this up. This could have been worse as we get 3. Oh, it's becoming worse a little bit. 3, 4, 5 probe kills. Can we get more? We bust into the mineral line. One of these workers is low. We're going to get a 6th probe. This has been worth it. This is becoming too much damage. 6 workers go down. Not just that, Showtime bled out a Stalker, he bled out an Adept, and back at home, we're building up towards our 3-1-1. Tank production has commenced. This is turning into a very similar follow-up that we just saw in Game 1. We work towards Stim, Combat Shields, a Bio Army, 2, maybe 3 tanks, and we move out on 2 bases and we pull the boys. And Showtime, his economy is a little bit crippled. He did have a rough early game here. Blink is finishing. We're on 2 gate. Ooh, 2 gate Blink into a 3rd. Okay, once again, another economic opener. Once again, it's going to be the Nexus before the Robo. Oh, wait, no, sorry, my apologies. 3 gate Blink. Okay. 3 gate Blink. Safer build this time at a Showtime. Going for a Dark Shrine. I love this. I love this choice by Showtime. A Dark Shrine would shut down an all-in. The reason for this is because we're on 2 bases, and we should be muling. We're not going to have energy for scans, or at least we shouldn't have energy for scans, so defensive DTs can work quite well. And again, I apologize for miscounting. It is 3 gate Blink, so a very safe build. That means we have extra warp ins, extra Stalkers. First Robo is done. Prism's on the way. Coffee had a good start with the economic damage, but again, Showtime is playing it safe. Playing it safe. It's up to 3 tanks. Oh, building up towards a 4th tank as well. And here comes the move out. But again, DTs can play a pivotal role here, harassing and also defending. Boys have been pulled. The all-in has arrived. And we do have some energy to work with. If we hold on to energy for scans, then Coffee can break the 3rd. 100%. He can break the 3rd and go even more than that. Get even more than that. 3rd base is going to be denied. Tanks do siege up. Yeah, the army has arrived. The base is going to be going down at the same time. We have the Prism across the map. The Dark Shrine is now done, and DTs, they're warping in. They're warping in across the map. Immortal production has commenced. Again, safety immortals this time for Showtime. But the shield batteries, they're not quite done. We have one. The DT comes in. The scan was still active. DT goes down. The Immortal as well. GG gets called as we snowball out of control, and Coffee takes the 2-0. Coffee advances on to the grand finals. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Showtime did play it safe, but Showtime still lost 6 probes in the process. Unfortunately, was not set up at the natural. He had 1 shield battery ready, but we had 2 more still in production, and Coffee was so quick, so crisp to just dive on top of that, siege up in time, and break the natural, break the defenses. Congratulations, Coffee is our first finalist. Let's see. GG, well played. An insane upset here. As Showtime, he was favored. He was favored to be a contender in those finals, but no, Showtime is denied, and Coffee will make it on instead. Congratulations. And do we have an opponent? Do we have the finals ready for us? Do we have our next series? I see Solar out of game. Looks like Solar, he's waiting for either Firefly or Cyan. Okay, just switching our scenes over to catch up on what's been going on in the brackets. Show us what has been happening from the top. Solar took down Lemon 2-0. Also took down Magical Cookie 2-0 as well. So solid performance so far out of Solar, advancing on to the semifinals. And Solar, he's waiting for either Firefly or Cyan. Firefly took down Jim. Cyan took down Smile. That PvP is currently mid-series, I believe. So we have some waiting to do. We're going to be waiting for Firefly and Cyan, and once they wrap up, most likely we'll be jumping into the upper semifinals. Now, very similar setup here. Both Firefly and Cyan, I believe they've both defeated Solar in the past. They are not favored. Solar is still favored, just like Showtime. You know, Showtime was favored against Coffee. Solar is going to be favored against both Firefly and Cyan, but Firefly and Cyan, they're the best Protoss players in China, and that actually means something here. Like, they do bring down these Koreans from time to time. It's become more and more regular as of late, so they will pose a threat, and I would not be surprised if this goes to the ace match, and it's even possible for either Firefly or Cyan to bring Solar down. Wouldn't say it's like it's a high chance, but there's a chance. Just like Coffee. There is that chance. Likewise, Solar, we spoke about it. For those that are curious, Solar did get knocked out of DreamHack a little bit earlier on, so he might have already traveled back. You know what? I'll just ask him. We'll just ask him. As we're going to be going on a short break. We're going to be going on a short break here. Already 1 upset so far. And yes, I have confirmation. Did just ask. Solar is back in Korea. So yes, Solar is back in Korea. And meanwhile, the other players are still traveling. Everyone else is still traveling. For Cyan, I'm not sure. For Cyan, I also am not sure if we're back at home or not. We'll ask. We'll ask when we are able to. For now, though, we're going to be going on a short break. When we return, we will have the upper semis. See you soon. welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the ESL Open Cup Asia number 230. We just wrapped up with the lower semifinals with Showtime versus Coffee, and we have our first finalist ready and waiting. Coffee pulled off an insane upset, and he is waiting in the finals for the winner of this series, for the winner of the upper semifinals. And sporting in the top left-hand corner of Oceanborn, we have our Chinese Protoss player, the Red Protoss, representing Offside Esports. It is Firefly. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Zerg player, the Blue Zerg, representing Team Vitality. It is Solar. Here we go. And if you are in the chat, predictions will soon be open, so you can place your bets on who you believe is going to advance onto the grand finals. Again, Solar, our Zerg player here, is the favorite player. 100% is the favorite player, but we've already had one upset, and we have seen Firefly take down these top-tier Zerg players in the past. He has it in him to pull this off. We've seen Firefly bring down players like Raynor. We've seen him take it to Serral. Can he take down Solar? It's possible. It's possible. I want to believe. Again, if you're in the chat, good luck. Best of luck with your predictions. Predictions open. Place your bets, man. Place your bets. As we are settling in, it's going to be a Hatchigas full standard opener by Solar, going for the unnatural natural, as Firefly did disrupt the opener of our Zerg player. Did end up disrupting the opener. So now our openers are just looking standard. Likewise, Firefly going for a gate expand into Cybercore. Everything looking as it should. Letting the people know. Beautiful. But yeah, now we're going to be settling into our game. Going to be joining up, getting into our 3-base setup here from the side of Solar. From the side of Firefly, I'm curious how he embraces this. Now, Firefly usually thrives in the mid-game. Usually does thrive quite heavily in the mid-game with very aggressive styles, going into Blink Stalker, going into double rover production as well. For now, it's going to be a Stargate opener into Oracle. We could go into Void Rays. It's a little bit out of fashion. It's a little bit out of meta to get into Void Ray first, but not unheard of. Based on the rally, though, it should be the Oracle from Firefly. Should be moving out. As for now, Solar is getting ready, joining up his bases. Adept does shade in between. It's going to be on Solar to keep up with the Adepts and to keep up with the Oracles. So far, we are able to, zoning that Adept away. And the second Adept has arrived. Now again, 2 Adepts do one-shot drones, so this is a stronger or greater threat to the mineral lines of Solar. You have to be careful. Oh, first Adept takes some extra hits, making its way towards the mineral line. Solar does react in time, does pull away. Oh, does barely pull away, but one drone goes down. And we shave off a couple of wings. Not too bad. Firefly diving in once again, maybe overextending though. Yeah, there's no shade. We overextend and both Adepts fall. Things started off not too bad. Things weren't too bad at getting one drone and a couple of lings, but we overcommitted. The Adepts, they fall. We're going across the map and looking to deny the third. That's a counterattack. The Oracle was able to keep up. Firefly does force back the lings, but we waste energy here defending instead of aggressing on the mineral lines, instead of going for some drone harassment. So this is a big win for Solar. Very nice start for him. Diving on the base. Not quite forcing the cancel, but once again, the second Oracle arrives. We confirm it's still stuck at home. Just really nice aggression here from Solar. Does focus on the probe. Oh, just barely. Gets the probe, slips into the main. The wall is not a wall. We bust into the mineral line. We get a second probe. 2 probes go down, and can we get a third? Oh, we can. We have 3 workers in total, almost on 4th. Almost. But with that, Solar, he forces back the army. He's freely droning. We have a Spore at the natural. We have a Spore at the third. We have a Spore in the main. Solar not cutting any corners here, being as safe as possible with a Spore at every single base. Queens are amassing, and Solar is looking comfortable. Now we have our follow-up. Back at home as The Oracles are moving out. We have Firefly going for his third Oracle, working towards a Forge and a Twilight Council. This should be for +1 and Blink, but we have seen a rise in popularity in +1 and Charge. So we'll see. We shall see. As the Adept Oracle heads into the natural base. Oh, taking some extra hits. Lings, they collapse on the Adepts, and they do focus two of them down. Once again, Firefly being a little bit too overeager, bleeding out and throwing away those Adepts. They do fall, and immediately Solar, he can threaten another counterattack. And he keeps the Oracles busy. These Oracles, they have done 0 economic damage. I mean, they force spores, I guess, but they haven't done much more than that. Haven't done much more than that, as we're just keeping the Oracles busy back at home. Lair is on the way, double gases as well. We do have the Roach Warren, so it's going to be Lingbane, Roach Ravager, and I spoke about this earlier. I spoke about this in the previous series, about how 3-base all-ins are very common. They're very popular here on Oceanborn from the side of Zerg players, but we have a 4th hatchery on the way. We're taking our gases, we're droning up. I was about to say that Solar could go for a 3-base all-in and go for a 66 drone timing, but we are droning up even further, and we're taking as well. We're going for a longer game. Infestation bit here for Solar, ready for Hive Tech. We're getting ready for that Hive Tech. Solar just looking further into this game. Firefly, meanwhile, getting a 4th. Should be able to get it up and running. Again, Solar is focusing on droning and expanding and teching. Still has Lings active, but Firefly should be able to hold on. As we had the safety Roach Warren, but now we have the Hydra Den on the way with the arrival of this infestation bit. This should be for a Hive for Lurker Tech for a Hydra Lurker Viper. So Solar just taking up and getting ready for his end game for his Lurkers. The Lurkers, Pappy, they're coming. Alright, going to be coming. Speaking of, yep, there it is. There's the Hive, there's the Lurker Den, as we did mention. Again, Solar just feeling comfortable enough to tech up in this direction, and Firefly has no real signs of aggression here. He's applying pressure with these Stalkers, but only a light amount of pressure. Firefly is not committed, so Solar doesn't have to overreact. As Solar has joined up to 76, he can join up to 80. Stalkers are clearing up some creep. But Solar does keep up, respreading those tumors. Does force Firefly back. Link still being active, they hit the 4th. Going for the pylon. Won't quite get it. Scout into the main base, does confirm the gateway explosion, does confirm that we are on, I think, one rover, yeah. We're only on the 1 rover, no bay, so no Colossus. It's a massive gateway style, a gateway composition. We dive on top of the Stalkers. A big catch here from Solar. 3-4 Stalkers going down. Lings, they get caught by the stasis. But a nice catch here from Solar. Now, Solar doesn't really intend on pushing. Remember, the Lurkers. We're taking up into Lurker Tech. We have upgrades on the way. Hive is done. Working towards Lurker upgrades. There it is. Do have a Seismic Spines on the way. I almost forgot it for a moment. I was like, Adapted Talents? No, the other one. Seismic Spines, Lurker Range. Adrenal as well. For those Cracklings. And Solar's just looking so comfortable. Now, Firefly himself has also droned up and probed up to 82. That is true. We do have a good economy. We have a good worker count. But Firefly, tech-wise, needs time. What I'm referring to is, you can see here, we have 2 Robos on the way, and we have a Templar Archives on the way. This is for, I believe, Mass Immortal and Archon. Ooh, as we force a recall. Oh my god, this is not the place to be. Bleeding out more Stalkers. But we're getting ready for like a big tech and a big tech switch and big snowball into Immortal Archon, but we're not there yet. We're still working with Stalkers. And here come the first wave of Lurkers. Solar, a bit of mispathing, bleeds out a couple of units. 4 Lurkers in production. And Lurkers are revealed. 1 Lurker gets sniped. A nice catch here from Firefly, but pushing up the ramp. Ooh, almost a full surround. So many Stalkers go down. Not like this. As Solar does escape with that Lurker, and he's gotten so much damage done with this already. So many Stalkers are falling. We get a surround. We get a surround, and how many Stalkers was that? 22. 22 Stalkers falling in total. Now we're going for a big counterattack. Remember, we're making 3 mortals at a time. Stasis Trap is going to be baited out. Storm is not done. High Templar going down again. We're making 3 mortals at a time. This is a massive, like, power spike here for Firefly if he only had more time. We We have a lurker in the natural. We're pushing towards the third base at the same time. A big zealot counterattack here across the map. But the zealots will eventually be cleaned up. We have lings, we have hydras. We are cleaning up these zealots, and across the map there's just no answer to the lurkers. Solar just in control of almost the entire game. GG gets called, and Solar takes game number 1. Whew. GG. Again, Solar, for those that maybe weren't here earlier, Solar, he was at DreamHack Dallas, but he went home early. He's already back in Korea. He's angry, he's upset, and he is here to make some money. He's here, you know what? I'm coming back home, and I'm winning ESL Asia this week. I'm taking it, Patty. I'm taking it. Looking very dominant in game 1. Takes a lead in the series, and now the pressure is on Firefly to bounce back, and I believe he can. Again, we've seen Firefly take it to some of these top Zerg players in the past. He has it in him, but he has to play at his best. That's the thing. He needs to bring it out of him. He needs to play at 100% here, and even maybe a bit of luck on his side. And I want to believe that we can force the ace match, but the pressure is now on Solar. 1 game away from making it to the grand finals. Uno más, papi. Uno más. Here we go. It looks like in the chat we're being let know that Cyan is still in the States. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for letting us know. Thank you. I wasn't sure whether he had gone back home or not. But yeah, we're being let know. I mean, I'm assuming that our chatter is a little bit more informed. So, maybe. Regardless, Cyan did fall in the quarterfinals. Now we're getting ready for game number 2. As a reminder, this is a best of 3. We're on match point. Sola needs 1 more win here to advance on to this finals. Firefly needs to fight back here and now to force the ace match, to have a chance at those finals. We'll see if he can. So we are loading in to Ghost River. Oh, interesting. Okay. We are loading into Ghost River as game number 2. One of the more aggressive maps in the map pool. Short rushes and spy ground. Just a very congested map in general. Can lead to some shenanigans. Definitely. Can lead to some shenanigans here. Here we go. As spawning in the top left-hand corner of Ghost River, we have our Chinese Protoss player, the Red Protoss, representing Offside Esports down in this series. Can he fight back? Can he bounce back here and force the ace match? The pressure is on. It is Firefly. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Zerg player, the Blue Zerg, representing Team Vitality, leading the series 1-0, 1 game away from making it into the grand finals. It is Solar. And again, Solar, he was looking so in form in that last game. Again, he was able to shut down the Adept harass, he shut down the Oracle harass by counterattacking and applying so much pressure and just keeping Firefly busy back at home. The Adepts and Oracles, they killed like 1, maybe 2 drones. Like the harassment early on from Firefly left much to be desired. And because that Solo was looking so comfortable, and he opted to just be greedy, take a 4th base, throw down Infestation, but tech up and rush into Hive and rush into Lurkers. There was nothing to really threaten Solar. And even in the mid game, when Firefly was being active with those Stalkers, he was getting caught out. Time and time again, he was getting surrounded and caught out on Oceanborn. He just couldn't really touch the bases or the economy or anything of Solar until the very end. Well, yes, we had some Zealot counterattacks and Zealot run-bys, but that felt more of like a desperation move more than anything from Firefly. And now we're getting into game 2. We can wipe the slate clean, we can wipe it clean, wipe the slate clean, and get into a fresh game. My eyes are on Firefly. What do you have for us, Pappy? What do you have? For now, Gate expand into Cybercore. We do see Solar going for a standard hatch gas pull. Standard opener out of Solar. Nothing crazy yet. Now, I wouldn't put it past Firefly to go for something aggressive like a Twilight Council opener. Pylon has been thrown down a little bit closer to the bases. Usually if it's a Stargate, the pylon is thrown down closer to the edge. But there it is. It is still going to be the Stargate opener. But I'm curious. I mentioned in the beginning of game 1 how Void Ray openers are not unheard of, so I've definitely got my eyes on Firefly, but based on the pattern here, based on, yeah. Oh, never mind. I was going to say based on the rally of the Stargate, it looked like an Oracle, but now we've rallied back to the base, back to the natural. I'm curious, do we embrace the Void Ray or not? We'll find out. Meanwhile, across the map, we are going to be droning up, taking a third base. We have our queens up and running. Lings are on the way as well. So far, nothing too crazy. We've pulled out of gas after getting Ling speed, just being as efficient as possible. And there it is. It is Oracle first, not a Void Ray. It's going to be the Oracle here for Firefly. Overlord dives in. It's going to take a little bit longer for the Overlord to scout, but we will get eyes on the Stargate and the first unit of choice. Solar confirms the Oracle opener. Should be feeling pretty confident and pretty comfortable, as it is a standard opener from Firefly. Queen's going to be getting ready. We have 2 queens at the natural. We have 1, soon to be 2 queens in the main. Now, the rush distance by air is a little bit shorter, so Firefly does get here sooner than he would on another map. But so far, Solar is keeping up. Firefly expanding back at home. Lings do move out for a counterattack, but we are in position. No adepts, though. We have actually skipped adept warp-ins, or, yeah, second adept. We only have the 1, which means our third base is more exposed, and, oh, we are forced to throw down the Revelation. Keep an eye on those Lings. And we're going for a very fast Twilight Council. Okay, this looks like Glaives. This looks like a Glaive Adept follow-up. We have skipped the third Oracle, and we're going for a Twilight Council instead. We should be seeing additional gateways behind this as well. And this is designed to catch Solar off guard. To catch him with his pants down. We'll see if he can. As there it is. We have the third and fourth gateway. Ooh, going into Blink, not into Glaives. Okay, so this is interesting. Now, with a fast Twilight Council like this, we're going up to 4 gateways. We should be saturating our third, and we're going to be able to be quite assertive early on and apply pressure with our Blink Stalkers. And this usually leads into an 8 gate all-in. What this means is 7 gateways back at home, and then you proxy the 8th gateway here in the center of the map to reinforce, and then you commit. And then you just try to snowball out of control. We'll see if Solar plays things out safely as we're going for a 4th. No Roach Warren for Solar. That is a little bit risky, so no safety Roach Warren. 4th base is responded. 4th base going to be cancelled. Ooh, we do force a cancel. Nice pick off there by Firefly. Link's going to be moving out. Shield battery getting up and running. Blink not yet done. Lings, they do collapse on the first Stalker, and they do get 1. 1 Stalker goes down. Ooh, we don't quite get the second. But it looks like Solar is going Lingbane. Okay, we do have the Roach Warren. 5-minute 30 Roach Warren. So this is a bit of a later Roach Warren here from Solar. Now, thankfully, there's no Glaive Adepts. If this was Glaives, then Solar would be in trouble. But it is Blink Stalker instead, which Solar did confirm upon seeing all those Stalkers, and we're going for a bit of a later Roach Warren, cutting some corners, but the Roach Warren will finish in time. Roach Warren will finish. Ooh, charge on the way. These Stalkers are being active, and we are teching. Okay, so instead of going for a 3-base all-in, we're taking gases. We're taking our gases here at the 3rd. We are throwing down a Templar Archives. We're working towards charge, Forge for +1. No big gateway explosion. We do see that Firefly is being active with these Stalkers, but he can't actually get across the map. These Lings have just been far too active here. Yeah, far too aggressive, just keeping Firefly busy. And the army dragged out of position. Solar going for a Ling run-by. We go for a run-by, but the wall is a wall. We are not hero. We are Firefly. The wall is solid. 1 adept goes down, but Firefly will hold the line, thankfully. And yeah, we're working towards a longer game. Meanwhile, Solar is throwing down gases as well, droning up past 66 and working towards infestation pits. So both players are taking up, but this time it's a little bit different. Firefly hasn't bled out too much. As you can see here, we've lost 1 Stalker and 1 Adept. So far this game, Firefly has been much more efficient than the previous. Has been able to keep up, hasn't been able to apply much pressure, true, but he's holding his own. He's holding his own and is working towards Storm. Now we get 4 more gateways. Now we have our 8 gate setup. Templar on the way, Storm as well. Firefly just chilling here back at home, and Solo likewise should be working towards his own Lurker tech as well. I say Lurker because we have the Hive on the way, and yep, there it is. Hydrogen, that's going to be for Lurker Den, that's going to be for Lunkers, for Solar. We're getting there. Now, Firefly will hit it first. You can see that the Hydrogen is just now starting, meanwhile, Storm is done. And we're pushing. We're moving out here and now to try to catch Solar off guard. Solar has been droning up. Looking at the unit side, we have 11 roaches. That's not that much. We can maybe break through. It's going to be close. It's going to come down to these storms. It's going to be reinforcing with charge lots. Army rocking up. Ooh, massive storm on the Lings. Not a bad start. Firefly forcing his way through. Once again, a storm, catching the Lings. On top of the roaches as well, we have 2 storms left. 2 storms remaining. Ooh, as we do spend 1. Zoning away the army. Solar getting ready for a surround. And Firefly retreats. He's down to 1 final storm. And he will catch out this flanking army. Not bad. Lings are caught out. Roaches as well. Meanwhile, Solar's buying time for Hydra production. Lurker Den is halfway done. And now we have a lot of roaches to work with. Up to 24 roaches. Stasis does catch some of the queens. Does create a force field or a choke point. Not bad. Goes both ways. So I've got 1 storm in the chamber, and oh! Ooh, it's used to graze the army. Not the connection we were hoping for. No more storms here for Firefly. Trying to break through. Stalkers, they do collapse on these Lings. Hydras are popping out. Firefly, he does have quite a Stalker lead here. And we're getting on some of the roaches. We're breaking through the first line of defense. And Solar, he's in trouble. He has Lurkers on the way. But with the help of the Immortal, we can break through. Take the Immortal back. Take it. Again, we're so close to Lurkers. They finish up just in time. And Lurkers, they are out. And the Revelation doesn't quite catch all the Lurkers. Fleet Beacon on the way, working towards Skytoss. 2 more Stargates as well. Firefly not doing too bad with this push, but he needs more. He's hoping for more. Prism towards the natural. We catch a hatchery. Force to cancel on the 5th. 4 base versus 4 base. Not something you want to see as a Zerg player. So Prism is making its way in. Firefly rotating around. Solar's in position. Does keep up. And we do get a Revelation on 1 Lurker. We do get a snipe. We have plenty more where that came from. Plenty more Lurkers, I mean. As Lings, they catch out the Stalkers. We have to retreat again. Without Storms, the Ling Hydra does well. We don't even need the Lurkers. So bleeding out far too many Stalkers. Else they come in to reinforce. But the Lurkers are pushing in. And what is the answer to the Lurkers? Again, no Disruptors, no Immortals. We have the 1 Immortal in the Prism. Firefly needs time. The Prism, no! Oh! As the Prism barely escapes. Barely does get away. But we need time for Carrier. Again, Carrier, it's the Hail Mary play here for Firefly. Trying to slow down the army. And allow them to warp in. Zealots are coming from behind. Lings, they collapse on the army. They're going for the Immortal. And the Immortal is going to be locked down, is going to be surrounded. We catch the Immortal, forcing back the Stalkers, making our way towards the 3rd base, but the Carriers have arrived. Oh, the overcharges pop, barely keeping the Carrier alive. I expect too soon. Oh, the Carrier goes down. The Carrier does fall, and it looks like Solar, he has broken Firefly. Firefly has been broken. Again, that initial Stalker push with the Storm had potential, but didn't quite break through in the end. The Carriers are just too little too late. Solar busting into the natural. The wall is not a wall. Cybercore gets Z-powered, and we're going for the kill. Again, Firefly did have a much better showing this time. Like, game 1 was more one-sided. This was more back and forth. But Solar still looking just a little bit too much to handle. As he's breaking through the 3rd base, into the natural, and now into the main. And we had some storms, and maybe we could try to hold on, but yeah, now we're shutting down the production. Firefly going for a base trade-esque all-in across the map, but we depower the Stargates. And what you see is what you get. 3 carriers and a mothership. We do activate Cloak. Ooh, that will force Solar out. Does force him out of the main. Well, across the map. The Stalkers, they get surrounded. Lurkers have arrived. And Solar cleans up the harassing army. Does clean up the counterattack. Cloak has run out. And Detection can now move out across the map. Solar even throwing down the Spire just in case, just to be ready for that Sky Toss. Now they're going for the 4th base. High Templar have been warped in. But it's just a numbers game at this point. The supply doesn't lie, not here. Lings, they hit the 5th. We're on the 4th. I mean, the carriers are forcing back some of these Hydras at least. But what about the economy? What about the mining? We're down to 17 probes. Barely an economy. And Firefly is down to 5 carriers. 5 carriers, mothership, a couple of High Templar. Technically, Solo could just go for a base trade and go for the elimination and try to focus down all the buildings. But Solar is preparing back at home with 13 Corruptors on the way. The Corruptors, they're coming, Papi, they're coming. They are going to be coming here as the High Templar just survive. We break through the Lurkers, making our way into our hatcheries. Bases are falling left and right. I spoke about the elimination earlier, and yeah, the Lings, they're going for the final buildings of Firefly. Big storms being thrown down by the Corruptors. They dive on top of the carriers. GG gets called as we get surrounded, and Solar will take the series 2-0. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Solar will take it, will advance on into the grand finals. My condolences to Firefly as he does meet his end here, but he made it to the semis. Very impressive run. And again, I do think the Firefly didn't look too bad in Game 2. In Game 2, he had his own moments. He had a very strong push. Didn't quite break through in the end, but again, definitely had a chance there. Game 1 was, again, more one-sided, but here we had more of a back and forth, and Firefly was able to showcase himself a little bit more in that second game. With that, GG. Well played. We have our grand finals. We have Solar advancing on to face off against Coffee in a best of 5. Let's go. Let's have a look at the run of our players as we switch our scenes over and have a look at the brackets. So far, Solar, I believe, undefeated. You can see here from the top, Solar, he was able to take down Magical Hui 2-0, took down Lemon 2-0, took down Firefly 2-0 as well. Has 2-0'd all of his opponents. Now, to be fair, I believe all of these have been Protoss players. The Australian player here, the Taiwanese and the Chinese player, they were all Protoss. Now we're up against a Terran. Something very different, as Coffee has been making his way through the lower half of the bracket. Coffee took down Lunacy 2-1, took down Jeshi, as that was a walkover over Jeshi, and took down Showtime 2-0 as well. Again, Lunacy is a Korean Protoss, Showtime, European Protoss. So likewise, I just realized that both Solar and Coffee made it to the finals against pure Protoss, against only Protoss opponents. And now they face off in a very different matchup. Again, the other big difference here is that Coffee did bleed. Coffee dropped a map against Lunacy earlier in the tournament. Not against Showtime, but against Lunacy at least. So has shown, a little bit of weakness here and there, but still, Coffee is a beast and can pose a threat. Solar's going to be coming in as the favorite player, but I am hoping and I believe that Coffee can make a series out of this. I want to believe that it won't be a 3-0, that Coffee can make a series out of this, maybe even take it himself, maybe. As unlikely as that sounds. I'm here for it, I'm ready for it. We're diving in. Alright, going to be diving in. As I will be setting up predictions in the Twitch chat. Predictions will soon be open. let's go. Vetoes are done, and game 1 is going to be on Golden Aura. Vámonos. Here we go. And if you are in the chat, predictions are now open. Place your bets on how you believe the series will unfold, on whether it goes the way of the Terran or the way of the Zerg. Up to you to decide. As spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Golden Aura, we have our South Korean Zerg player, the Red Zerg, representing Team Vitality. It is Solar. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Chinese Terran player, the Blue Terran, representing Mystery Gaming. It is CranKy. Here we go. And again, predictions are open. So best of luck in the chat. So we are going to be settling in. So chat, hey, nice to see you streaming. How crazy was Cyril's run yesterday? Yeah, Cyril, he was looking very impressive. If you remember, because I was co-streaming day 2 in the lead up to the quarterfinals and the semifinals, Oliveira looked crazy good against Raynor. I remember saying that Oliveira, he looked like he had like top 2 TBZ in the world. Like, he was looking more impressive than, like, I don't know, than some of our other top Terrans in StarCraft in the TBZ matchup against Raynor. He was looking crazy. Like, I got chills. Like, if you remember, I was in awe. I was in shock and awe watching Oliveira versus Raynor. And I was really looking forward to a series against Cyril, and his series against Cyril did not disappoint. Again, Oliveira, the only player to pose a threat to Cyril. It was really impressive. And I was just, I don't know how else to put it, but I was just really impressed by Oliveira that weekend against Raynor and against Cyril. And even before that, against the other Protoss players in the earlier stage. Oliveira really popping off, and I'm so happy to see him doing well, especially because I feel like after IEM, I mean, he's still our reigning world champion, but after IEM, because of visa issues and because Oliveira wasn't able to compete in DreamHack Yongshipping and he wasn't able to travel to Home Story Cup, like, because Oliveira wasn't really able to compete too much after that, he kind of had a bit of a slump, definitely. I think he said it himself, and a lot of people, like, would talk him down, would be like, oh, you know, Oliveira, he was like a one-hit wonder, you know, he like won one tournament and that's it, you know, like he doesn't compare to some of these other Terran players. And yeah, I feel like his performance that weekend, you know, puts his doubters to shame a little bit. So yeah, I was really happy to see that. He was honestly looking insanely good, like one of the best in the world, 100%. Oliveira really turned it on. So I would say that was my biggest takeaway from DreamHack Dallas is watching Oliveira. It was really cool to see him. Like Cyril, he was the favorite player coming in, so no surprise there. But for Oliveira and not Maru to be the one to like really threaten Cyril was really cool. It was my favorite storyline of the weekend. But yeah, now we're back. We're focusing on ESL Open Cup Asia. It is going to be a 3cc before Starport. Economic build by CranKy. Meanwhile, Solar getting his third base up and running, opening up Hatch Gas Pool into his third. Standard build so far out of Solar. Economic build out of CranKy. Meanwhile, the Tech Lab is done, and we are not going for an add-on swap. Interesting. We have a Viking on the way. We're getting into early Marauder production. This looks like a 3cc Hellbat push. I'm curious if an Armory is going to be thrown down as we're building up Hellions and Marauders over anything. And you can see that we're hiding those Marauders as well, rallying them behind the mineral line. So we're keeping those Marauders hidden for as long as we can. And I'm waiting for when they do move out. For when we pull the trigger. Overlord dips in. We have started Concussive Shell. Overlord confirming that it is not a Banshee based opener, confirms the third CC. But again, this is a very cheeky build. Everything here looks normal. Everything here looks very economic, but we've kept those Marauders hidden, and there it is. We're waiting for the Armory, and the Armory has been thrown down. It is going to be a 3cc Hellbat push. Now, because this is a 3cc build, this is not all in. This doesn't have to kill, but this does have to trade well, is what I should. And it can kill. Like, if Solar is too greedy, if Solar is cutting too many corners, if he drones up too much, if he doesn't have enough of a force to work with, as Ooh, he's following up double Evo Chamber. What does this mean? No Baneling Nest. He goes double Evo Chamber, which means the lair is delayed, the Baneling Nest is delayed, which means he only has Link Queen to defend. This is ideal for Coffee. And can Solar pull off the defense? How many queens do we have? We have 8 queens in total. The queens are spread out between the bases. And we need to bring all the queens together as the armory is about to finish in a couple of seconds. Marauders have arrived, and Solar does spot this. We're diving in. We do catch a queen. Oh, just barely not. The queens are no. A bit of a miss rally. 2 queens that get thrown away. This is dangerous. This is brutal. 2 queens go down instantly, and Solar, he's in trouble. Pulling together everything he has. The Spore will go down. Medevac pulls back. Ooh, nice hot pick up there from Coffee. Medevac has to be very careful with the queens are falling one after the other. Link's coming from behind, but we have Hellbats. We have Hellbats in position. And we are getting on top of the third base. The third is looking to go down. Oh, the Medevac taking a lot of damage. Does take a lot of hits. We get another queen. Medevac goes down, but the Lings are being cleaned up. And Coffee, has he done it? Has he broken through? Second Medevac has arrived. Yeah, the Lings get cleaned up. The queens are so low. We have 5 queens left. Oh, down to 4. More queens on the way. We haven't done economic damage yet, though. The drones are still alive. And we are running out of steam. The Hellbats are getting low. Medevac barely saved once again. Good juggling from Coffee. We're still on 4 queens. Spore doesn't quite burrow. And it looks like Solar, he's barely forcing this back. Spore goes ham, Medevac goes down, boys are being pulled, the hatchery will fall. We barely get the base, but we don't kill many drones. God, that was so close. That was such a close defense for Solar. It looked like everything was going well for Coffee. Everything was going right. I mean, Coffee did get the base, but look at this. Only 2 drones died. Those workers got very close to going down. They got so low. If we had gone into the mineral line, if we had killed all these drones, it'd be game. 100%. It would be game then and there. But Solar, he preserves his worker count. He's double expanding, but he's down to 2 bases. Solar, he still took damage. Lost a lot of queens. How many queens was that? 6 queens went down, 71 Lings. And Coffee has a third. Remember, Coffee wasn't all in. He is transitioning out of this. Into his third base, into his expand. Whew, oh. I need to breathe, Papi. I need to breathe. Here we go. Coffee is going to be threatening a push, but he's going to be pulling back again. Coffee's expanding, saturating his third base. The game will settle down from here. Like, we can breathe, Papi. We can breathe. 1-1 is about to kick in. We're working towards Baneling speed. How about Super Sport? And the Banelings are here to defend. Do we get a decent split? But a lot of Hellbats do go down. And can we break through? More Banelings are on the way. And it looks like they will finish up just in time. Yeah, Solar, he will hold on. Bearing in mind as well that because of this push, our upgrades were delayed. These E-bays and upgrades are a little bit later, which means Solar has the upgrade lead. That is not something you see too often in ZVT because of how committed the Hellbat push was. We are just trying to hold on, trying to stabilize. So once again, we do rotate in, threatening the 4th base. But this time we have Link Bane to defend, and Coffee is being forced back. Again, Coffee just trying to harass as much as possible. Trying to trade as efficiently as he can. Gets a couple of Links. Gets a couple. Oh, does target fire the Baneling as well. Very nice. Third base is up and running. 4th CC now on the way, and Coffee is moving out with the split push. He's got his main army on the left. He's got his drop on the right. We are moving in. Are moving in, and can Solar keep up as he attempts to expand? And we could just force a cancel here and now. Yeah, Sims in, going for the hatchery. Does force a cancel. Pushing up the ramp, but we do have some Link Bane in position. Widowmines are sieging. They are burrowing up. Ooh, big mine shot. A lot of Link Bane goes down. Solar, he's in trouble. Same time, drop on the right hand side, keeping the queens busy. Without the queens to defend, this main army can break through. We have more Banelings in production. Coffee, we gotta send it. We gotta go. Oh, as we do take things slow. And More Banelings on the way. Widowmines, they will burrow. And once again, not the connections we were looking for. And Solar is forcing this back. Just in time, we have backup Banelings. And Solar does hold on. As I said that, we're still rallying across the map. CranKy still trying to force the issue. Drop into the main. Going for the tech. Lings are in position. And Queens are rotating over. Very nice target firing, but one Baneling gets in. Baneling does get in. Still a back and forth, but you can see Solar now eclipsing his opponent in supply. Things were quite close, but now Solar is stabilizing with more Ling Bane trying to get a 5th base, expanding on the right hand side. He is taking his expansion. Likewise, CranKy also getting into his 4th. Again, CranKy is keeping up economically. CranKy, even though he's down in workers, he has mules, so that does make up for that. So economies are pretty comparable. Good kiting here, good stutter stepping on the Banelings, but is forced back. Good focus fire is what I meant to say. As we're getting into Liberators, and again, CranKy is so aggressive, just refusing to back up. Does refuse once again sieging up. Pushing in now with Liberators, going for the ramp, going for that choke point. At the same time, there's a planetary at the 4th. The Ling Run-By does nothing. Ling Run-By is deterred. Banelings crashing into Marauders of all things. Not an efficient trade, but we have more Ling Bane where that came from. Hydras have spawned in. Ooh. But again, this choke point is brutal. Solar trying to force his way down the ramp, but it looks like the Banelings, they connect. Ooh, big connections. Banelings, they crash into the Marines, the Hydras, they get on top of those libs. And they will focus them down. Solar is holding. We do have more Marine Marauder rocking up, but now no more Widowmines, no more Liberators. This army does pose less of a threat. As we do need Banelings. God, CranKy is so heavily stimmed. His army overstimmed. Try to break through. Solar getting his 5th base up and running. Very important here that he does maintain his economy with that base. Ling Run-By coming in. Does catch reinforcements, but we do have a decent amount. Yeah, the Marines are going down. And CranKy is forced back home. Finally, Solar can breathe. You can see there, CranKy just scanned. He just scanned, does confirm the base. He was hoping he was denying the 5th. If he was denying the 5th base, he could keep this going. But now he has to rotate around. He has to rotate around. The 5th base that much more secure. We have creep in position. Pushing in is not going to be easy. Not going to be easy as we do stim forward. Catching a couple of Hydras. Not bad. Vipers have arrived for some Blinding Clouds. Mine shots going off. We do Blinding Cloud the tank. But there's not that much Ling Bane left over. Oh my god. Just barely another Blinding Cloud. The tank does go down. CranKy denied on the left-hand side. Again, he's trying to split apart the attention of Solar, trying to break his attention here, but alas, not able to. Force back. Solar can once again breathe. Again, the fact that Solar got this base up and running is huge. And he's holding his own. Now we have Hive Tech. We have Hive Tech, not just Vipers. The Lurker Den, Lurkers are on the way. You can see that Solar, he is now eclipsing CranKy in terms of tech, in terms of the quality of this army. Now with Lurkers, how do we push in? Can we push in? The answer is we cannot. Lunkers have arrived. We deny the 5th base. 5th CC is cancelled. It's going to be cancelled. We see the drop still trying to find a way in, but these Lurkers, the positioning is just a little bit too good. Ling Bane diving forward, catching a tank. And Solar now taking the fight to CranKy, fighting out on the map, cleaning this up. CranKy barely escapes. And now Solar, he's maxing. Like, again, this aggressive style and aggressive nature out of CranKy was almost enough to break Solar, but almost is not good enough. Not against Solar. As Solar's now maxed out. Again, he's now just surpassing and snowballing out of control. But this was an impressive game from CranKy, as he's going for the base. Does get the hatchery, but it costs him everything. The Banelings crash in, the army crumbles, and Solar, he's going for a massive counterattack. We catch a tank. Oh, almost. Hop pick up. Does save the tank. Lings rolling in. Mine shots not looking too bad. Yeah, mine shots on the Lings, on the Banelings. But the base, it has been broken. Third base forced to lift, going for the reinforcements. Billy Bane snowballing out of control. GG gets called, and Solar takes game number 1. Whew. GG, but that was not the cleanest of games. Solar takes the first game after surviving the aggression of Coffee, but again, Coffee, he was so close to breaking Solar. There were a couple of moments here and there, whether it was killing the drones, whether it was preserving the medevacs, whether it was engaging a little bit better against the Ling Bane. So many minute details where if one or two things had gone Coffee's way, maybe it's a different game, right? Maybe if he had scouted the 5th base earlier to know where to push in and where to deny the bases. So much came into that. GG, Solar takes a lead, but that was a game. that was some StarCraft, man. That was beautiful. GG. The end, Coffee's feisty. Ready to go. Ready for this finals. There's a reason why he made it to the grand finals. There's a reason why Coffee took down Showtime in those semis. I mean, outside of the fact that Coffee had the ping advantage, true, but still impressive nonetheless. As we sink our teeth into the rest of this series. Let's go. Just catching up in the chat. Oh. So diving into our next game and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Oceanborn, we have our South Korean Zerg player. The Red Zerg representing Team Vitality, leading the series 1-0, but it's a best of 5. Plenty of games ahead of us. It is Solar. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the blue Terran player. The Chinese Terran representing his team Mystery Gaming. It is Coffee. Coffee down in this series, but again, it's a best of 5, plenty more games ahead of us, and I'm curious to see what kind of builds Coffee whips out next time. As a reminder, winding it back, it was a 3cc 1-1-1 build from Coffee, and remember, Coffee was able to successfully hide the armory and hide his Marauder production. He lured Solar into a false sense of security, made it look like he was macroing when really, I mean, he was, but he was also building up towards a Hellbat push. That Hellbat push almost broke Solar, and it wasn't just that, but even the follow-up Bioaggression had some decent success as well. Coffee was trading well. He was trading well against Solar. Eventually, he ran out of steam, right? Eventually, the aggression subsided and Solar could breathe and stabilize and get into Hive Tech. But it was a rocky road. It was a rocky road for Solar. And we'll see what else Coffee has in store for us. I'm ready. I am ready. Here we go. As for now, it's going to be a Rex Expand. Rex Expand here from Coffee. Likewise, Solo going for a Hatch Gas Pool. Standard opener so far. Nothing out of the norm yet, but we'll keep an eye on our players. Likewise, I know we're focusing a lot on Coffee, but even Solo can be aggressive here in this matchup, a little bit less so than other players, right? When I talk about the Korean Zerg players, when I think of aggressive, just aggressive Zergs in Korea, I think of Dark, I think of Shin, I even think of DRG before Solar. Solar, he's like one of the more European Korean Zergs, if that makes any sense. He's a little bit more standard, a little bit more macro-oriented, more of a reactive player than anything. More so than the other Koreans, I should say. Still can be quite aggressive himself, but when you compare him to Dark and Shin, like it's hard to compare. So we'll keep an eye on Solar. Reaper dipping in. Oh! Threading the mineral line and doesn't quite get enough done. The drones will survive. Queen will fend this off. Third base is up and running. Coffee does cause a bit of chaos here, but is going to be forced back. And across the map, third TC. Third TC is on the way before the starport. Economic build. I mean, technically it was also a 3cc build in the last game, true, but so we'll keep a closer eye on Coffee. There's Yadon swap into Helium production. Starport's on the way. We should be seeing a tech lab on that Rax. We'll keep an eye on that production. As Reaper dips in. Oh. And it does overextend. Yeah, a little bit too greedy there by Coffee. Got a KDA charge and wanted to go even further. Coffee gets shut down. Meanwhile, there is that tech lab on the racks. It is a little bit of a delayed tech lab, so we might not go for the add-on swap. We'll see. We'll see if we go into Banshee production or not. There it is. Oh, actually was lined up quite nicely. Never mind. I thought it was a little bit late. It does line up. There's the add-on swap into Banshees. Okay. So it is going to be 3cc Banshee. A very standard build from Coffee. Like, this is as meta can be. Going into Cloak Banshees, this does keep you safe against roach play, does allow you to be a little bit more aggressive and harass across the map. With our combination of Hellion Banshee. As Coffee has gained map control. Meanwhile, Solar, his goal here is to keep up with the Hellions and the Banshees and to deny any kind of damage, to preserve his workers. So far, our queens are keeping up, creep is spreading. We're holding our own. Overlord Scout does confirm the third CC, and we're going for the production. Do we get eyes on the researching tech lab? We see the Banshee. That's good enough. We do spot the Banshee, and we don't spot the tech lab, but spores should be thrown down. We saw enough. Yeah, there it is. Spores on the way, in the natural. In position to deal with Banshees. We'll see if Coffee can get more damage done. Unfortunately, Coffee just wasn't able to deny that scout, so going for additional Raxes behind this. Setting up on 3 Raxes, soon to be 5. Spore in the main, and Spore at the third. So 1 Spore in each mineral line. Solar not cutting any corners. Being as safe as possible. Will lose a lot of creep at least. It's a lot of tumors going down. Again, that's what these Hellions do grant you. Map control to be able to bully back the creep and to keep the Zerg player in check. Ooh, and that is going to be a lot of Raxes on the way, actually. We're settling into our 5 rack setup. 5 Raxes so far. And we'll see if we throw down additional Raxes and if we do not take our gases. There are better maps for A-Raxing. So we'll keep an eye on Coffee to see if he does go all in. As Banshees, they do slip behind the bases into the main. But there's a Spore there. Queen's in position. Can we get some drones? Oh, we're going for the Queen. And we will... we will not get the Queen. It barely... Oh, no! We came back. The Queen does go down. We catch a drone as well. Not too bad. As the Banshees will escape at the same time. Hellions marauding around. Getting eyes on the 4th. Solar has droned up and did in fact throw down the Roach Warren. So Solar is going to be playing Roach Ravager in game 2. Infestation Pit is Baliness is spotted. As of course Coffee is playing Bio. So it's going to be Lingbane, Roach Ravager out of Solar. Just a very safe way to play. Going for early Roaches like this does keep you safe against like early pushes. Early aggression. It doesn't scale amazingly into a longer game, which is why we're working not on range upgrades, but on melee upgrades for the Lingbane. That does scale far better than the Roaches. Meanwhile, we're settling into our 3-base setup. Settling into... Oh, how many Raxes is that, by the way? I see 8 Raxes, no additional gases, no second factory. This is the beginning of a 3-base all-in from our Terran player. What I'm referring to here is that basically you throw down 3 extra Raxes here, so it's 8 in total. No add-ons, no gases. Oh, I say that add-ons are being thrown down, which means we might actually throw down some gases. No, I may have spoken too soon here. But we do have our A-Rack set up, and we haven't taken gases yet. No additional factory either, so we could just be doubling down. I say that triple tech lab on the way. We're getting into Mass Marauder. I mean, against the Roaches, that will help. We'll see. We'll keep an eye on Coffee. As there is no 4th CC. There is still no 4th base. Still no additional factories. So this is a different variation of 8 racks with all these tech labs going into a more Marauder heavy composition. As he does deny the 5th. 5th base is cancelled. 2-2 on the way. King Cuts of Shell. interesting. So this is going to hit a little bit later. CranKy is building up a little bit more by mixing in those Marauders. Again, most likely because he scattered the Roach Ravager. Ultra Caverns all the way for Solar. Hive is done. Ultra Tech on the way. CranKy is running out of time. We gotta go. And here it is. Here comes that 3-base all-in. So it is still an 8 racks, but it's a different variation, just with more Marauders, which will help against Roaches and Ultras. It's all or nothing for CranKy again. No 4th base, no additional economy. One massive push. And we'll see if we can break through. Again, we have 13 Banelings on the way. How well can we split? How well can we spread? So far, Banelings crashing into a couple of Marauders, a couple of Marines. Not a bad start, but ooh, we take down a Banshee and a tank. Solid files there from Solar. And catching good chunk of bio as well. Ooh, CranKy gets surrounded. We're bleeding off too much. We're bleeding off too much here. But we're also running out of Link Bane as Solar has to back up. Biles not quite connecting. Nice splits. Does avoid those Biles. This hatchery on the low ground is going to be going down, but Solar, he's amassing his army. More Link Bane on the way. And CranKy's running out of steam. Again, CranKy doesn't have the best economy behind this. He can sustain himself a little bit, but he has to trade as efficiently as possible. Gets a Queen. Vipers have arrived. We have Hive Tech. The Blinding Clouds are brutal, and Solar is going to shut this down. Collapse on top of these tanks. Every tank goes down. And CranKy is being chased back. Again, we usually hit before Hive Tech really gets underway, but with the Vipers, we shut this down completely. And now Solar is snowballing out of control. Again, CranKy was all in. Completely, and CranKy is holding on to the ramp at least. But Solar, now with Ultra Tech, kind of splaining on the way. Not like this. We are chasing CranKy back. Forced to pick up, forced to get the hell out of here. 3-3 is on the way. CranKy still refusing to expand. CranKy forced to lift up his main. So this is how you continue a 3-base all-in. An 8 racks like this is you lift up your main, you take it as your 4th to maintain your economy, to keep your push going. Oh, but the Link Bane, and we're coming in from both angles. Ultras as well. We bow down the tank. And CranKy just cannot keep up. Not anymore. Vipers coming in, going for the parasitic bombs, going for the Metamax. Nice split, but GG gets called, and Solar takes a 2-0 lead. 1 game away from becoming our champion. GG. Whew, GG, well played. Again, a very interesting style here out of CranKy. Again, an 8 racks variation, a 3-base all-in variation from CranKy. Unfortunately, it did hit a little bit too late there. Again, Solar, he already had Vipers on the way. He had the Ultra Cavern on the way. Solar was able to embrace that Hive Tech as the push took a little bit too long. It was also unfortunate that, I should update the score, but it was also unfortunate that Solar caught a good chunk of bio early on, if you remember, on the left-hand side. He caught a massive chunk of the Marines and the Marauders ahead of time. Again, was able to slow down the push, bile down the tanks. Very nice defense there out of Solar. And now we're getting into Game 3, potentially the final game of the tournament. Potentially. Here we go. We're diving into our next game and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Alkion, and we have our Red Zerg player representing Team Vitality. 1 game away from taking it all. Ooh, going for a 15-15. Okay, playing it very safe. We have Solar. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Blue Terran player from Land of China representing Mystery Gaming. It is CranKy. Go. We go. As we are selling in again, it's going to be a 15-15 opener here out of Solar, 15 hatchery into the 15 spawning pool. It is just a way to get earlier queens, earlier lings. It does mean that your gases are going to be late. Basically, our gas is going to be quite late and late ling speed, but solo will be safe against something like a proxy. So if Coffee went for a proxy or even went for 2x Reaper, which, good read. Good read from Solar. If he went for 2x Reaper, then Solar will have plenty of queens to defend. As 2x Reapers on the horizon. Now, this is not an all-in. This will lead into an expansion, but the goal of 2x Reaper is to deny the third. It's to deny the third base and delay the economy for as long as we can. Solar, though, with his queens and with skipping lings, I'm sure he's going to be content to stay on 2 bases a little bit longer and take a delayed third base instead. We'll see how this all comes together. As the Raxes are finishing and Reapers are on the way. Here we go. So now we have our Reapers in production. Reapers in production. It's going to be a triple Reaper here from Coffee into our expansion. Again, this is not an all-in. We're just going to be expanding back at home. And this should just be 3 Reapers. Again, we invest into additional Reapers if Solo was to try to be greedy and expand. Otherwise, just 3 Reapers is all you need. First Reaper has arrived, testing the waters. Trading against lings. We did force out lings as well. Not bad. And we check the third base. There is no third, and Coffee can work on his transition. I say that we do have a 4th Reaper on the way. 4th Reaper is in production. We're checking the linear third base, confirming that there's nothing there. And it looks like we are allowing that 4th Reaper to complete. Behind this, going into our 3cc. 3cc follow-up, very greedy economic build. Or economic follow-up here by Coffee. And again, all he wants to do is just delay the third. Just contain Solar, delay the third base for as long as we can. We don't need to get drone damage, or don't need to risk things too much. As Coffee does dance with the army, again he threatens that drone, dipping in. So we do pull back. Ooh, even catching some of these queens off of creep. Ooh, and 1 queen gonna go down. Big pickoff already. Big delay on the third base. That was a misstep there from Solar. Queen should not have gone down. Oh, and we are going to be asking for a bit of a pause here. It looks like we have an issue. Of course, we can resolve it. Oh. And Solar is referring to the queen. Oh no! Wait. Solar saying that the queen is stuck. The queen! This queen got grenaded over. Ay. Was it the grenade or did it walk in? I think it was the grenade, right? But the queen is... It can't do anything. No shot. And now we can pick up another queen. Second queen goes down. Ay. Dead supply here behind the gas. Not like this. Oh my god. Not like this, Bobby. As Ling speed kicks in and Coffee will be forced out. Finally, we can expand, but feels a queen, man. That's a first. Oh my god. Yeah, it feels bad. Oh, can we force it out with the gas? We can't take the gas. No, we can't even take the gas. No shot. I would have to check the replay on that, but I'm pretty sure it was KDA charged into that position, right? That is brutal. I haven't seen that before. And clearly neither has Solar. Ay. And from here, Coffee, he's going to be, again, settling into his 2-base setup. SCVing up. Hellions have arrived. I mean, we could just put this queen out of its misery, I guess. We're gonna have to make a drop alert to save the queen. No. As Coffee, again, he's gonna be macroing out of this, settling into his 2-1-1 setup. Stim is on the way. We have a medevac transition. Again, I should have emphasized this. It's gonna be 3cc 2-1-1, working towards a stim timing. Only 4 Hellions for Coffee. Oh, sorry, 6 Hellions. Never mind. Made extra. Getting up to 6 Hellions. Being active. to calm things down. Liberator harass here in the natural base. 2 drones will get picked off. Headed for the 3rd. And it looks like we won't quite get a queen. Oh, getting close. Liberator is cleaned up. Liberator is going to be cleaned up here, as here comes the stim timing. Stim is done. Here come our Marines. Not quite 16. Hellbats are morphed in. My apologies, I was a little bit distracted, but the armory was not quite... I didn't quite notice the armory. But a very interesting follow-up Hellbat push. We're going for the queens. Ooh, and we're not ready for this. No Bailey-ness, no Baileys. The queens are being focused down. Yeah, one after the other. GG gets called as we shut down the 3rd base, and Coffee fights back, putting a point on the board. GG, just catching Solar out of position, catching him off guard with his pants down. And to be fair, I'm sure Solar was frazzled by what was happening earlier with the queen. Not saying that that queen would have made or broken the defense, but I'm sure it threw Solar off a little bit. Like, I don't want to make too many excuses, but Solar was very clearly distraught after realizing that the queen was stuck. So yes, Coffee able to take advantage of the situation, able to just keep the aggression up, went for that Hellbat follow-up, which was unscattered. Solar did not have a Bailey nest. He barely had any lings either. Was caught off guard, and bam! We have a series. Coffee fights back. Let's go. Two supplies a map feature. True, true. I see in the chat. Coffee, be a gentleman and bounce the queen over. Oh my god. As here we go, we're diving into our next game. The series will continue, and spawning in the top left hand corner of site Delta, we have our South Korean Zerg player, the Red Zerg, representing Team Vitality, leading the series, but taking a bit of a loss here. Can he bounce back? I mean, still 1 game away from becoming our champion. It is Solar. And sporting in the bottom right hand corner, we have the Chinese Terran player, the blue Terran representing Mystery Gaming, fighting back, putting a point on the board. Let's go! Off of the back of the stuck queen, it is Coffee. Let us go. As we are going to be settling in, as we are going to be getting into our game once again. It's going to be a Rax on low ground. Looks like another 2X Reaper. Looks like another 2X Reaper variation from Coffee. Once again, going to be active. Meanwhile, Solar opening up with a hatch gas pool. This time a standard opener out of Solar. He won't go for a gasless build or a 15-15. This time his gas is going to be out of regular timing. Link speed will be out of regular timing as well. Here we go. Here we go. As Coffee, actually interesting, not going to Rax Reaper. It's going to be a Rax Expand. This is a bit of a greedier opener. The downside of this build is that your production is going to be exposed, but you're able to wall off a little bit faster. That's kind of the give and take here of this opener. This is the special build. I mean, technically 2X Reaper is also kind of a special build. But this is something that Special is a little bit more fond of, going for that factory to wall off here, and eventually an add-on swap. On-site Delta. Let's go. As Coffee doesn't go for an SCV scout, again a very greedy opener here. No SCV scout from Coffee, no Reaper scout from Coffee. It was Marine first, going for the Overlord. It means that if Solo was going for a fast gas or a fast pool or a roach rush or any kind of aggression, then Coffee would have no idea. Coffee would have absolutely no idea, and he'd be vulnerable to something like a Roach Ravager all in. But as we can see, Solo's playing standard, and Solo even getting supply blocked, losing that Overlord. So this is kind of there's a bit of a give and take here for Coffee, with the no scouting, but also with cutting corners. CC is getting up and running, preserving our gas, going for the reactor, going for an add-on swap. The Ling is here to deny the add-on swap, so Coffee has to be careful. Ling does dip in, but won't quite make it through. Here comes our add-on swap, and Hellions are going to be on the way. We have a Hellion production, Starport also on the low ground as well for the add-on swap if you want to go into a Starport, sorry, into a Tech Lab, into Banshees. Again, the natural's going to be quite congested as a result, and Solar is droning up. The mental damage. Even Björn can't do that Reaper. True, true. Björn wishes he could be Coffee. Aye. Kappa. Interesting. Okay, no add-on swap. Okay, so we're going for the tech lab on that Rex, working towards Stim. Meanwhile, it's going to be not Viking, but Liberator first. I mean, this makes sense. Remember, we just killed the Overlord. The first Overlord went down. We don't need the Viking. Going straight for the Lib. Straight for more aggression. Hellions moving out. Liberator behind this. Coffee does dive into the mineral line. Ooh, no links to defend. No safety links. The drones are getting roasted. The barbecue was real. 6 drones go down already, and we're not done. We're going into the main base. Links they pop out just now, but it might be too late. How many more can we get? 6 drones so far. We deny mining in the main base. This is good enough. Okay, damage still being dealt. Liberator on the way. More Hellions towards the natural. Solar getting pulled apart. No, we're going into the Hellions. Not like this. Not this way. Force back 10 drone kills in total. Here comes the Lib towards the main. But the Hellions are finally cleaned up against Solar. He was cutting corners. He was cutting lings and was punished for it. We're not done yet. Coffee going for his 3rd CC. Liberator into the main. Liberator towards that main base. Meanwhile, the wall's on the wall. No! The wall not quite open. Ooh, SCVs are going down. Coffee, it's his turn to be caught out. As things are cleaned up, Liberator does siege, only getting 1 drone in the main base. As we deny any kind of mining time here. So many drones not doing anything. Queen's trying to keep up. More Hellions on the way. This is a little bit abnormal, but Coffee just doubling down on more Hellion production. Does sit back across the map, but ooh, does overextend. This time Solar's ready. Yeah, this time Solar in position. Up. Ooh. Takes down 2 Hellions, 2 left. Liberator still poses a threat in the main. The Queen! Oh, the Queen goes down. Still no mining. The Hellions are cleaned up. Link's going for a counterattack, but oh, we are getting damage done. 2nd Liberator on the way. No shot. The double Lib harass. We're coming in. Back at home, the wall is up and running. Thankfully, this time the depots are raised. Liberator to the main base. It's going to be shut down. But the Liberator at the natural does zone that away. Does zone away those workers before being cleaned up. Okay, that 2nd Liberator was a little bit lackluster. A little bit more lackluster for Coffee. But we've gotten 15 drone kills in total. Very nicely done. Solar is re-droning, so you may be thinking like, oh, like he's, you know, he can sustain these losses. He's recovered. Not quite. All those workers could have been a 4th. We should be having like a 4th base, you know, additional workers, additional tech. Working towards an army. Solar is falling behind as a result of those drone losses. And is now taking into his lair. That is a 6-minute 30 lair timing. Getting into his double upgrades. Bailey Nest now on the way. As Coffee's getting his 3rd on an even base count with the Zerg. Here we go. Solar's going to be dipping in. Headed for the mineral line. Getting an SCV, getting 2. Not bad. 2 SCVs, not quite at that. Getting a 3rd, getting a 4. Oh my god, we're getting out of hand. We're getting out of control. And why exactly? Because Coffee's moving out with his Marines. Not much at home to defend. 5 SCVs go down. Aye. Coffee going for his stim timing. Stim is done, diving on top of the Queens, but we are in position. Solar will deflect this. Coffee is going to be deflected. Solar holds, getting a 4th. Double expanding, getting a 5th base at the same time. Makes sense, just because we're a little bit behind, or we're not where we should be. And Coffee, trying to force that cancel, won't quite get it. Oh, it's going to be close. Do force a cancel. But thankfully for Solar, we double expanded. May have canceled 1/4, but we have another getting up and running. So Solar still in a decent position here, able to recover. Almost getting a medevac as well. As Coffee will follow us up with a push. Again, we only have our 5 rack setup here, but we're moving out with our 7-minute timing. I mean, now 8-minute timing. Again, the timings are a little bit wonky just because of the game states. Our goal to deny the fourth. Little does Coffee know that we've expanded elsewhere. He doesn't know about the real fourth base. He thinks he's doing more damage than he is. This base doesn't really matter too much as Solo's going for a big counterattack. Lings, they hit the third. Hatchery is denied. But again, Solar, he's okay. He can sustain himself. Can sustain himself as Solar, he's racing back home. Getting ready for the surround. Tanks a little bit late to siege. Yeah, 1, 2, 3 tanks going to be going down. We clean it up. The tanks do fall. Coffee is going to be forced back. We can see a secondary army here moving out towards the fourth. Getting a bit of read on what's going on. Again, the base is fully operational. We do force the pick up. Coffee getting a 4th CC. Again, there's no 3 base all in. It was only 5 Raxes working towards a 4th base and additional gases. Coffee is going for a longer, later game. We're taking up into a 2nd factory, 2 more gases, 4th CC. And for the first time this series, we're kind of entering a more back and forth, mid, not quite late game yet, but we're getting there. Hive is on the way. Oh, and we're rushing into an Ultra Cavern. Okay, Ling Bane into Ultra from Solar. Drop is coming back in. We deny the 5th. But we are double expanding. I guess denying the 6th base as the 5th is on the way. Solar in position. Coffee working towards Drilling Claws. No Ghost Academy yet. Throwing down additional Raxes to be able to sustain, or for our economy to sustain our production. As we will soon take that 4th. Soon take that 4th base. As Coffee has been so adamant here, and it looks like that's a kill. Kill, not a cancel. 300 minerals down the drain. Not bad. Not bad here for Coffee. Meanwhile, Solar has maxed out. Solar maxing out, catching the drop. The creep is lackluster here on the left-hand side. Speaking of creep, oh my god, that's a lot of tumors on the way to make up for that. Solar recognizing how little control he has here towards the south. As we go for a Ling counterattack, catching SCVs. SCV's going to be going down, and Coffee forcing back the army. SCVs do fall. Ultra's on the way. Solar still maxed out, ready, poised to move out and try to break down this 4th. Coffee, meanwhile, going for his own triple drop. Still having a hard time keeping up. Again, bleeding out a lot of workers, having a hard time replacing them, and here comes Solar! Rolling in with his Ling Bane, Widowmine Zibble Burrow, and we got some decent connections, but not good enough. We break the 4th. We bust into the natural, busting into the main base as well. Lings in every single base. And Coffee's being pulled apart. He just doesn't have the numbers he needs to defend. Doesn't have the supply. The boys being forced back to Bailey, crashing in. Ooh, big connection. 38, 40 SCVs go down. Lings still wreaking havoc in the main base, and we are just pulling Coffee apart. Ultras have arrived. GG gets called. And Solar will take the series 3-1, becoming this week's ESL Open Cup Asia champion. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations here to Solar as he does take it in the end, is our champion. I mean, he was the favorite player coming into this tournament, but shout out to Coffee, because Coffee made a series out of this, and Coffee did cause some upsets. Again, I feel like a lot of people looking at the bracket would have said, oh, it's going to be Solar and Showtime. It's going to be Solar and Showtime in the finals. No, no, no. Coffee had other things planned, as Coffee shut Showtime down in the semifinals, brought him down 2-0. Very impressive stuff. And even here in this series, the score doesn't really tell the entire story. Coffee was able to fight back on Alcyone off of a wild situation, but even then, remember game 1? Remember on Golden Aura how Coffee opened up with a Hellbat push and almost straight up broke Solar, just caught him off guard with his pants down, Queens are falling, and Solar did take the game, did survive, but it was a very close one as well. Again, I mentioned before that Coffee is quite a strong player, did actually retire for a while, like last year or the year before that, did step away from the game, then came back, and Coffee's been looking impressive. He's been looking very impressive. There's something about these Chinese players, whether it's Coffee, whether it's Firefly, Cyan, Jeshi. They all can take maps and take series off of these top tier players. They do so quite regularly here, and yeah, I mean, they're not favored players by any means, but they've all been improving. They've all been getting better. They've all been getting stronger. I know that a lot of these players have been motivated because of Oliveira. I'm referring to when Oliveira was the world champion a year ago now. From that moment, the Chinese scene was, do I want to say revitalized? I mean, it was invigorated, right? It was reinvigorated as they were motivated to improve, to compete, right? SC Boy was a big part of that as well. And that's why we've seen like a rise from players like Coffee, like Firefly, Cyan, Jeshi. They've all been improving, they've all been getting better, they've all been catching up with some of our other international players from Korea and from Europe. So GG, well played. Congratulations to Solar, but a shout out to Coffee for making a series out of this and making it to those finals. And with that, we're going to be wrapping up. You may be wondering to yourself, hold up, where's everyone else? You know, where's Stats? Where's Hero, Dark, Björn, Cure? They're all traveling. They're all traveling. They're all coming back from the United States. And I'm sure they'll be back here in time for Kung Fu Cup. Kung Fu Cup is in a couple of days. ESL Asia next week. WTL. You know, soon we're going to be back into our regular scheduled programming. But this week's ESL Open Cups are going to be a little bit different because of that. They're going to be a little bit different. Oh. What I'm referring to is that players are still traveling. Because of that, ESL Open Cup Europe and ESL Open Cup Americas, we could see some new champions. We could see some wild players rise up and challenge others and have deep runs and make some money, make some EPT points. It's a good opportunity for some of these other players that weren't traveling to you know, make a run and make a name for themselves. Now, what I will say about the European and the Americas region is MaxPax, right? MaxPax, he doesn't travel to offline events, he doesn't compete in offline events, so MaxPax is, or he should be there for both EU and Americas. So MaxPax is still going to be a constant in these online weeklies. We saw Showtime. Showtime didn't travel, so potentially MaxPax versus Showtime in the European weekly, but potentially. Likewise, Solar will most likely go to bed and wake up in time for Americas. So Solar, MaxPax, they're going to be the ones vying for the Americas weekly. I'm sure there are going to be others to challenge them, right? Like, I don't want to get ahead of myself. But players like Geralt, Christiana, right? Wayne as well, Nickerack. There's plenty of other European players to pose a threat to MaxPax and Showtime. Likewise, in the Americas weekly. The Americas weekly is going to be interesting because the Koreans are traveling. I don't know when they get to Korea, because ESL Americas is in 12 hours. By then, it's depending on flights, it's possible that maybe some of the Koreans will make it back home in time, and they might be able to play in ESL Americas. Maybe. I don't actually. Hold on. Hold on. Flight time from Korea to USA. Ooh, 14 hours. Never mind. It's a 14-hour flight, and the tournament is 12 hours from now. Maybe we might get some Koreans playing in ESL Americas. Slim chance. Other than Solar, of course. So, yeah, keep an eye for that. Keep an eye out for that. But with that, we are wrapping up. We are going to be wrapping up here tonight. And thank you so much for watching. Thanks so much for the support. I'm a little bit conflicted, just giving you guys a bit of a heads up. I'm a little bit conflicted because ESL Open Cup Europe is in 5 hours. Let me just double check. It's ESL Open Cup Europe is in how many hours time? 3 hours and 44 minutes. So just under 4 hours time is ESL Open Cup Europe. And the regular casters won't be covering it, right? Wardy is traveling. Like, it isn't just the players traveling, but Wardy is traveling, Rotterdam is traveling, and Zombie Grub as well. Like, a lot of the casters are going to be busy. They're traveling. They won't be there to cast. We did this last time for DreamHack Atlanta, where we decided to stay up and cast Europe just because no one else was casting. So I guess I could, but it's 10 p.m. Like, the tournament starts at like 2 a.m., like 2 a.m. in the morning, and it keeps going. And the problem is that if I stay up and cast Europe, I don't think I'm going to be able to stay up and cast Americas as well. Like, casting all three, it takes a toll, and I don't know if I can. But at the same time, if I don't think anyone's going to be casting Europe. I think Steadfast might, right? Like, Steadfast sometimes casts Europe, and Steadfast also wasn't traveling. He was casting from home, casting the side stream like us from home. So maybe Steadfast will be there for Europe. I know that Artosis will be casting America, because Artosis didn't travel. So Artosis, he's going to be casting Americas. That's going to be fine. Probably Steadfast will be casting Americas. Like, Americas will have coverage. Like, Dave Testa, Chicken Man, or at least Dave Testa wasn't traveling. So there's going to be plenty of coverage for Americas. Europe is maybe a different story. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Like, I would like to fix my sleep schedule and go to bed. We'll see. We'll see. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Thanks so much for the support. I hope that there is coverage for ESL Europe. Fingers crossed that, you know, Steadfast cast it, or maybe one of the other community casters out there. Fingers crossed. Otherwise, thank you for watching. Thank you so much for the support. From our side, we will either do Europe or Americas, one or the other. I could try and do both. I could try and do both. I don't know. Maybe we do. Maybe I just brew some coffee, and maybe we do. Maybe I go for like a 2-hour nap. True. I could try to nap for 2 hours, do Europe, and then like nap for like 1 hour, and then do it. We'll see you soon. We'll see you next time. We'll figure it out. Otherwise, thank you for watching. Thank you so much for the support. Shout out to Solo, shout out to Kofi, and with that, we'll see you guys for some more StarCraft action. Whether it's Europe or Americas or both, we'll figure it out. We'll see you guys next time. See you guys next time. Ciao, Bobby, ciao. See you next time.